star. Me and you, we're going not too far. On the moon, come meet me at the bar. It's me and you, gonna take a shot. We just landed on the moon in the Lambo. It feel good, don't it? Alright. We just landed on the moon in the Lambo. Taking pictures with the zoom and the angle. We'll be coming back to you with the samples. Our predictions coming soon with a halo. We just landed on the moon in the Lambo. Taking pictures with the zoom and the angle. We'll be coming back to you with the samples. Our predictions coming soon with a halo. We just landed on the moon in the Lambo. Taking pictures with the zoom and the angle. We'll be coming back to you with the samples. Our predictions coming soon with a halo. The moon and the angels. Made man began, hustle to greatness. Elon's on the phone, he got our wallets, a spaceship, but diaries for free. That's if you want to attain it. Spreadsheet can't leak if it ain't coming with payments now. I give the blueprint to build, making the moon a plan. I went from being a lunatic to a lunar land. You day to day it, you make it no matter who the man. My chart is shooting in, tell me if it's cool to land. From my ICOs, my coins points mushroom like Marios. I might take it to Mars, my portfolio could bring my whole entourage like I'm Arigo. Because moon in the Lambo, ain't a hater who presume where we can't go. Lambos pulling up in twos like it's tango. Up in the clouds with my crew like I'm Lando. Yeah, just landed on the moon in the Lambo. Taking pictures with the zoom and the angle. We'll be coming back to you with the samples. Our predictions coming soon with a halo. The moon and the angels. Made man who die, read the game plan. They can't stand, we fly where they can't land. Lifestyle, so good I gotta write down. Trying out, don't make me pull my drive out. Made man who die, read the game plan. They can't stand, we fly where they can't land. Lifestyle, I never gotta lie about. Trying out, don't make me pull my drive out. Yeah, I wasn't always a celebrity. Had to do right till I left you a legacy. Blood, sweat, and tears on this trail like a Cherokee. Business had a mission like Apollo and so heavenly. Murcielago or Galata with the leather seats. How should I roam from my home through the 7 seas? If one day this wasn't built, I'm not Romulus. Grind to you sitting on a bill with no monikers. This for my mama, I turned up with no thermometers. I strain day after night like the Andromeda. I know what time it is, looking in the sky to lift my spirits. And my spirits, I don't whine, I just grind and get. Yeah, trusting the process is essential. Studying the chart should be the object of your mental. Make the most to get the laser focus like you Diplo. Keep a couple secrets in the tails of the crypto. Keep a couple secrets in the tails of the crypto. Make the most to get the laser focus like you Diplo. Yeah, trusting the process is essential. Studying my chart should be the object of your mental. Moon in the Lambo. Taking pictures with the zoom and the angle. We'll be coming back to you with the samples. Our predictions coming soon with a halo. We just landed on the moon in the Lambo. Taking pictures with the zoom and the angle. We'll be coming back to you with the samples. Our predictions coming soon with a halo. The moon and the angels. Made man who die, read the game plan. They can't stand, we flying where they can't land. Lifestyle, so good I gotta write down. Trying out, don't make me pull my drive out. Made man who die, read the game plan. They can't stand, we flying where they can't land. Lifestyle, I never gotta lie about. Trying out, don't make me pull my drive out. Yeah, alright. Don't make me pull my drive out. Crypto life. Yeah, made man, baby. How to rap true. Yeah. Diary made man. Stay tuned. Go.
Token Metrics is a cryptocurrency investment platform that helps users leverage machine learning to become better crypto investors. Our in-depth analysis helps eliminate the emotions of investing, find profitable investment opportunities, and filters out scams. Learn more at tokenmetrics.com. Disclaimer: Token Metrics Media LLC does not provide individually tailored investment advice and does not take a subscriber's or anyone's personal circumstance into consideration when discussing investments, nor is it registered as an investment advisor or broker-dealer in any jurisdiction. Information contained herein is not an offer or solicitation to buy, hold, or sell any security. The Token Metrics team has advised and invested in many blockchain companies. A complete list of their advisory roles and current holdings can be viewed here at tokenmetrics.com/disclosures.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. This is going to be a great show. We're being joined by Bill. Hey, Bill, how are you?
Ian, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on the show.
All right. I mean, this is basically the moment of truth we've all been waiting for. Bitcoin halving, crash or moon, Bitcoin's defining moment. This is going to be a very, very big show. Last week was our biggest live stream show to date, and we anticipate this live stream is going to be even bigger because this is almost like Bitcoin's birthday. This is like Christmas for people in the crypto world and the Bitcoin world. So stay tuned. It's going to be a great show. Make sure you subscribe and join the channel. Also, some people are saying they're having issues with the notifications. Make sure you have that turned on YouTube. I'm not sure. Maybe if you have all or personal, maybe check and see what options you have, but make sure you have that turned on. With that being said, quick shout outs to people on the stream. So first person on the stream was Dragon Ball Crypto. Hey, thank you so much for being here on the stream and for being here every single time on the stream. I think this is your first time being first in a while. This time it wasn't Mark. Mark was first, I think 4 weeks in a row. So this time somebody beat Mark. Then James, great to have you here as usual. CJ, welcome. Then we have Chris from Facebook, welcome. Mark, not first. James Spliff, welcome to the show. Backpacks CRPT, welcome to the show. Mike Chi on Facebook. Ian Blaine rapping. So actually, that's not me rapping. That's my good friend Drew, who's a rapper. I'm definitely not in the rapping business. But hey, we do like good crypto music. Arnard, welcome. Thank you for being here. All right. So, Bill, how are you, man?
Ian, I'm doing good. Never a dull day. You think Sunday's a day off and think again, right?
Not in crypto. Crypto does not sleep 24/7. That's the crypto life. All right. So if you have any questions for us during this live stream, please go to menti.com. That's MENTI.com. The Menti code is 456690. That's 456690 to put in your questions. We'll take questions towards the end of the show. So for the first, I would say 45 minutes to an hour, we'll be going through our thoughts on the crypto market, answering your most important question right now, which is, what is Bitcoin going to do after the halving? And we all know the halving is on May 12th. So that's Monday. I think our time is about 4 a.m. to 6 a.m., give or take, Eastern time. So I'm definitely going to be up. Our team will be doing a live stream to our customers. So if you're a Token Metrics customer, make sure you check for a recent email this week. We'll be doing a private Bitcoin halving live stream where we answer your questions live on the air, privately, of course. So this won't be streamed to YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, or anywhere else. This is just private to our customers. So be sure you check your most recent emails from Token Metrics. We send out the calendar invite. Okay, all right. With that being said, Bill, can you give people a quick intro on yourself?
Sure. So I'm Bill Noble. I have made a career since the first Gulf War in analyzing markets that are highly volatile. All right. So I started in currencies during the EMS crisis where George Soros made his money. I then moved over into the bond crash in '94. I worked for Morgan Stanley during the dot-com bust, 2000, 2002. And I did 12 years at Goldman Sachs, which included, helping them navigate 2008 and the aftermath. So I've got retail experience with Charles Schwab and I got my crypto cred from working with Charlie Shrem. And now, I'm sort of bringing this idea of, master of disaster to the crypto world with Ian, where we help you navigate the volatility.
Well said, Bill. And for those who don't know, I'm Ian Bellina. I'm the founder and CEO of Token Metrics. Token Metrics is a cryptocurrency investment platform, or rather cryptocurrency investment research platform that brings together professional analysts like myself, Bill, Paresh, and others. And we tie that together with analytics, data, and machine learning to make you a smarter investor. Because we all know quant investing, machine learning is the future. It's already taken over Wall Street. It's not taking over crypto. The best performing crypto funds in 2018, according to PwC, were quant funds. And we know this is just the beginning. And our entire goal is to bring those same technologies, the AI, the machine learning, to retail investors. So make sure you join tokenmetrics.com so you can have a chance to compete with professional investors using our technology. My background is in analytics and data. Worked in analytics at IBM for 4 years, covering open source analytics. I was a technical sales engineer for IBM Watson Analytics for 3 years, working with the customers like Staples, Macy's, EY. Was also a sales executive my last year, covering all of North America for open source analytics. And prior to that, I was working at Deloitte as an IT consultant. And my background is as a computer engineer, bachelor's and master's. And it's great being here. I got into crypto back in 2016. I haven't looked back. 2017 went all in, quit my nice cushy job at IBM to go all in on crypto. And this is just the beginning. I mean, crypto is really one of those generational moments, and it's a pleasure being here and being able to share this via our live streams and our content with the entire world. All right, with that being said, Bill, how does the market look?
Okay, so a bit of market history, right? So events, I call them like fundamental events, like say treasury auctions or QE announcements or earnings reports, can sometimes create, distortions in price that can give you an opportunity to get involved in whatever the existing trend was. Okay. In other words, where I'm going to treat today as just simple gymnastics related to the habit. Okay. I'm not going to put a whole lot of stock in it and say, crypto's turning over and crashing. So I'm looking at it from the lens of today's an aberration that allows you to get involved in the current trend. All right. So that's like the overarching view. Now, part two, emotions almost never serve you in trading. I know that's a fact. However, in this particular case, Ian is right. This is a special moment. It's a special show. And, even if you got to call your mom and, you need to wish her a happy Mother's Day and also have her talk you through so you have the fortitude to get involved here on the halving related to the volatility, then do it. Because this is an emotional, historic moment for crypto, right? It's either going to hold and turn around and become an alternative asset or alternative money, or our future shows are going to be really short.
And I mean, the fact that we're here, we're pretty optimistic. Obviously, we all could be wrong, but we think our future shows will be even longer.
I agree.
Because, I mean, otherwise, why are we here? So I know lots of people have been kind of, I wouldn't say panicking, but just concerned, because we all know there's been out there the rumor that, or rather the fact that buy the rumors, sell the news when it comes to the Bitcoin halving, and Bitcoin's price is priced in. Now, as we've mentioned before in our past shows, our models on tokenmetrics.com were bullish leading up until the halving. And then after the halving, they were pretty much neutral and didn't really have a dog in the fight, because it was very hard to predict, at least the price prediction models, whether Bitcoin would be bullish or bearish post-halving, because the predictions really just showed Bitcoin going sideways. So I'm very intrigued to see what Bill has to say from the TA standpoint, and then also sharing what Token Metrics says right now. Because for anybody who got in, just to kind of give a recap, our models called the dip when Bitcoin dropped below $4,000 in March due to the pandemic, when there was a huge flash crash. I think it was called Black Thursday. Our models, I don't really know anybody else who was very bullish, but our models basically said buy the dip. So our models were bullish below 4,000, and now they've gone all the way up to, it was about 10,000. Now Bitcoin's price is around 9,000, I believe. But I mean, for anybody who got in then, I mean, you've already made money on your trade. So it's already a win. It's already a W. Now it's really just kind of icing on the cake. So Bill, how's the TA for Bitcoin? Could you please pull that up?
All right, sure. I can pull that up right here. All right. So here we're looking at a Bitcoin chart, and I know people sometimes like my colorful charts, and I'm glad to hear that. So what we have is, we have right here, we took out one very colorful line. That was sort of the emotional push up through 10,000. Then we came back down, okay, and hit another line around 8,100. Okay. Now, what do I view this as? Simple gymnastics going from one big point to another. 9,600 to 8,600 is like kind of what I think the range is. I would like to see 8,100 to me has to hold, right? The call off the chart would be for consolidation around 8,600. Okay. I don't think this is terrible, because if you just look at it, like you said, you started at 4 and you went to 10. The move up to 10 was, frankly, it was very emotional. It was kind of like all in one day. And one thing I forgot to mention, which you see from the chart, is that frequently in bull markets, you just get these sudden drops, right? Everyone's bullish, everyone's excited, and then all of a sudden, boom. All right, so when we look at Ethereum, Ethereum is a little bit of a different animal, okay? Was disappointed that Ethereum did not participate in the rally, okay? That made me kind of think that what was going on with Bitcoin might have been like ramp it up and then dump it for people who needed to sell. We talked about whales paying their bills. In Ether, the bottom line is simple. I want to see 180 hold. This sort of expanding channel that I've redrawn, and I'm experimenting with it. I think if 180 does hold, Ethereum's got major upside. But I've got to sort of stay neutral here. I got to wait to see if 180 holds before I would get really bullish. Now, speaking of really bullish, here's something kind of funny that we've talked about last year, but haven't talked about this year. And this is Cosmos versus Bitcoin. Okay? Now, one of the things that I noticed is that right down here, okay, we are seeing like people kind of puking this out relative to Bitcoin. And this is one of the cryptos that we really, really like from a fundamental point of view. Mm-hmm. So Cosmos underperformed on the rally, and it's down since. And I'm starting to wonder whether this is the big buying opportunity in Cosmos. So that's it for the charts.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely actually pretty surprising. Cosmos hasn't really had a good year this year. I mean, I know the co-founder or founder did step down, so I'm not sure if that's really what's causing all of that. But I mean, that's a project we're still all bullish on. So here, just to kind of switch over. So as mentioned before, we have exactly 1 day left until the Bitcoin halving, for those who don't know. So this is bitcoinblockhalf.com. So exactly 1 day and 31 minutes. So basically about 24 hours from now. So we can anticipate, at least for us, Monday, 6 a.m. So, but hopefully this goes faster because our live stream with our audience is at 5:30, I believe. But anyway, so now, thank you for that, Bill. Going on to Token Metrics. So for those who haven't logged in a while, we have made a change on the labels here to make it easier for people to understand. So we've changed short-term trader to just day trader, and we've changed long-term investor to just value investor. So hopefully that's easier for people to decipher. Now looking at the short term, so for any day trader out there, we're still bullish on, so out of all the cryptocurrencies out there, Bitcoin has our highest grade. But if you notice, the monthly TA has switched from being from being bullish or very bullish for the last few weeks to now being neutral. So our models are essentially neutral on Bitcoin right now. They can't really say whether it's bullish or not. It's basically saying whatever position you have, just wait. So if you're long Bitcoin, just wait it out. Or if you're short Bitcoin, wait it out. Wait until we really have a moment of truth. So kind of pulling that up here, as you see here, very neutral on Bitcoin. There are some indicators that are bullish, but for the most part, it's neutral at the moment. Now, if we go to the price prediction models, and reminder, these models are only available, so price predictions are available to people in the investor plan on Token Metrics or higher. So that's investor plan and professional plan. Now, we had some people who were asking us that they were on the hodler plan and didn't have access to this. So price predictions are just purely for the investor plan and above. So here's the accuracy of the models over the last 12 months. So looking at the models here, so the actual price for the last few weeks or so, we'll say that the last 2 weeks was actually above the predicted price. But over here on May 7th, the actual price began to crash. Now, our models have not really obviously picked that up yet. And as usual, this is not any kind of financial or investment advice. This is just purely for research and to help give you an understanding of where the trend is going. So, but prior to this crash here, our models were basically saying Bitcoin could go as high as 12,700 and basically then just go sideways for a while. So if we go down to the Bitcoin halving, so comparing this to last week, the predicted price for Bitcoin on May 12th, last week it was about 11,600. Now it's dropped down to 11,363. So then on the low end, it's saying Bitcoin could go as low as 9,700 or so. And on the high end, which is pretty much unlikely at the moment, Bitcoin can go as high as 13,300. So that's kind of the range we have for Bitcoin. Right now, Bitcoin's price is 8,700. So if we go all the way towards the end of the month, actually if we go all the way into June, so basically 1 month from now, it has Bitcoin going as high as 12,300 still. So not quite going to the moon, but I think with the way things are currently, I think it's definitely good. It's definitely positive for Bitcoin, especially considering that, I mean, it's very hard to predict the halving. So with that being said, that's kind of our take on Bitcoin at the moment. Now let's take some questions from the audience. Okay, all right. Just give me 1 second here. It seems we're having an issue. Bill, do you still hear me?
Yes, I can still hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, but I cannot see you. Sorry. Let me just see if we can fix this real quick. With that being said, anything else you'd like to add to that, Bill?
Actually, one thing, just it actually is sage advice on your part. If my father used to have a saying, if you don't know what to do, don't do anything. So, if you're a little bit confounded by the price action, don't fully understand the halving, that's fine. I do think this is an opportunity, but, if you personally don't know what to do, don't feel bad about it. Just wait.
All right. Sounds good. Okay, I think, yeah, there we go. We have you back now. Not sure what was going on here. All right. So, what does everyone think here? Okay, people are asking for the Menti code. Menti code is 456690. That's 456690. Let me put this here into the comments. So go there and submit any questions you have. People are telling me to turn off my phone. Yeah, I have turned off my phone. So actually, the issue was my phone is hooked up to my laptop, so I get calls on my laptop. So my mom was calling me, but I just told her I was in a live stream. All right, back to the live stream. Okay, tons of FOMO and greed right now. People are saying a crash. Okay. Lionel says, I took some profits prior to the halving. Plan on buying again during the dip. Okay. People talking about Hex. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if anybody who had the free claim to Hex, you definitely did make some money. Ian, you stated you were using the hotspot to mine helium tokens. How is that going for you? Going great. I mean, it's basically I just plug it in and I don't really think about it. It's just mining for me, and I definitely do like that philosophy, that process of not having to think about it. Just plug and play. Okay, so do you think Bitcoin will crash short term, and the next few days will be very interesting? Okay. I mean, I think we've kind of already answered that question already. I guess, Bill, do you want to recap that again for anybody who might
Sure,
be
sure.
joining?
8100 needs to hold. Okay. If you were long, I can't come up with a better point than 8100. So I think it'll hold, but it's just one person's opinion.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, I can hear my hedge fund buddies saying that crypto is kind of a really fast indicator, and the move in crypto could be indicative of another leg down in stocks. So I don't want to make this overly complicated. I think 8100 will hold, frankly, because I think 8100 has to hold. So I don't think it's a Bitcoin crash. But if I'm wrong, you'll probably know by Thursday.
Yeah. All right. So once again, if you have any questions you'd like to answer, go to menti.com, menti.com. Use the code 456690. That's 456690. Now, let me just check in here with the comments and see how we're doing. So let's leave the token related questions for afterwards. Right now, we just kind of want to focus mainly maybe on Bitcoin and other things. Okay. Owais Vianney says 7,200 will be the bottom. Okay, not sure where he's getting that from, but please do share your thought process on that. Dragon Ball Crypto says he anticipates a dip after the halving. Well, I feel like everybody is predicting a dip after the halving to a point where if everyone's predicting it, it's probably not going to happen. I mean, because not everybody in crypto, most people in crypto lose money, or most people investing or trading lose money. So if everybody's predicting the same thing, that is definitely something to be cautious of. Okay. Okay, so we have a first question here from the audience. Let me pull this up. So do you think the crypto markets could go into a hyper cycle because of the influx of money printing, QE, which is quantitative easing, etc.? This is interesting. Bill, do you want to begin with this? So basically saying, will a hyper cycle happen due to QE and money printing?
Okay, so the answer to his question is yes, and here's why. So when you print a lot of money, particularly since they've been printing money for a long time, right? It's not like there was a crisis and they printed money. That doesn't create inflation. But they've been printing it for years. So as soon as you start to see prices rise at the grocery store, like here's an example. And I'm from Texas. Brisket for barbecue was $2 a pound. It's now $3.79. Okay. Now, if you start to see that go across all different types of things, rent, healthcare, people are going to start looking for alternative currencies and alternative investments. I'm not saying you're going to be buying groceries in Bitcoin tomorrow, okay? But they can't just print money and have no consequences whatsoever, right? And they can't just print money to inflate the stock market. There's got to be an unintended consequence. So, yes, and I think it could benefit crypto.
I mean, I agree. I mean, I think that's why we're all here, because all of us have anticipate and we're bullish on crypto. Now, one thing I did come across this week. So looking at the stock to floor model for Bitcoin versus gold was very interesting. I'm not sure if I can pull that up here, but somebody was looking at the stock to floor model. Let me just see if I can pull that up here. Apologies, I didn't really plan for this. But I think somebody on Twitter, let me see who that was. Just give me a sec. And I think this was really one of the best cases I've seen for Bitcoin but also more importantly, looking at gold. Actually, yes. So this was from Kraken. So Kraken Research put out. Let me see if I can pull up this blog post. So for anybody out there who's subscribed to Kraken as an investor, or I guess as a user, they put out a analysis on Bitcoin and the Bitcoin stock to flow model, and this was really the best thing I've seen to date. So just give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull this up here, because to kind of recap, it's basically stating that after the halving, everything changes for Bitcoin, because Bitcoin now gets closer and closer to gold. So meaning that it gets even more scarce. Okay. All right, sorry. It's coming up. Just give me 1 second. Okay, yeah, so here I've pulled this up. Okay, so this goes on to say that stock to flow recognizes that economic utility of a consumable good is realized when the good is used, but the utility of the investments with the high stock to flow ratio lies in the storage and eventual resale. But anyway, the key thing to look at here is this chart here, this table here. So pre-halving, the stock to flow for gold is 63, and for Bitcoin is 27. But post-halving, so May 20th, the stock to flow for gold will be 63, and the stock to flow for Bitcoin will now be 55. So Bitcoin is now getting more and more scarce, and it's going to be almost exactly like gold. And then if we look into the next halving, it's going to be even more scarce than gold. So the whole narrative of Bitcoin becoming digital gold post-halving becomes even more real. So I definitely encourage anybody out there to go do more research into stock to flow. But I mean, this is vital, right? So just to kind of recap what this says, this is really a way of measuring how scarce something is, right? So if we read here, right, in large part, gold's value holds well over time due to its scarcity, commonly measured by the stock to flow ratio. The SF ratio quantifies the scarcity of an asset, measured by dividing an asset's total circulating supply, the stock, by the amount produced annually, the flow. So this is something I think that was made popular by Plan B on Twitter. And I think looking at this and looking at all the other assets, I know in some past shows we have covered palladium, platinum, and silver. But as we can see, Bitcoin is already more scarce than those. The only other asset or commodity Bitcoin hasn't really surpassed has been gold. But by May 20th, Bitcoin will now be close to gold. And we anticipate by the next halving will be even more scarce than that. So, Bill, any comments or thoughts on the stock to flow model?
Sure. Yes. So the first one is very simple. Good luck getting your hands on physical gold. Good luck getting your hands on physical silver, right? I mean, physical, silver trades like $14, $15. If you want an actual silver coin, you're going to pay $20 an ounce. And physical gold is just gone, right? And there's a whole story behind, why physical gold literally is so precious, especially since there's an anomaly between the price of physical and what the paper markets say it is. So if you can't get hold of physical gold and you can't buy groceries with silver coins, then Bitcoin not only has a scarcity value, it's something you can get your hands on by opening an account, okay? And you might be able to buy something. So if you put all this together with the stock to flow research, right? Again, if Bitcoin is as scarce as gold and no one's getting their hands on gold, Bitcoin may become the default choice, not to mention the fact that crypto could become a future financial ecosystem. And I got shouted down on that one last week, but I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, I mean, well said, well said. So, I mean, because having more research, things like this is definitely what makes you have the confidence and fortitude, as we mentioned earlier in the show, to be able to weather the storm through things like this, right? So, because if you're in this for the short term and you've not done your research, you'll panic sell. And for anybody, because all of us here, we're in crypto for the long term, so we have more fortitude when it comes to panic selling and buying the dips, moments like this, because we've done our research and we're long-term bullish on crypto. So going back to the person's question earlier, will QE and all this money printing really create a hyper cycle for crypto? I mean, I personally think yes. I don't know if I would call it a hyper cycle, but I would just say it makes us more bullish long term on crypto. I mean, because this was a very interesting week. We had Paul Tudors, who's a big Wall Street investor, state that his fund now is investing up to single-digit % into of the portfolio into crypto or Bitcoin. And I think this was really a big endorsement for crypto and Bitcoin. Bill, what's your take on this, on that recent news?
Sure. So, obviously, if I was as successful as Tudor Jones, we could have this meeting on my yacht, right? That said, we're cut from kind of the same old school market cloth, right? So guys like him, there's just not a lot of guys like him out there, right? And for a guy like him to look at a range of asset classes, right? A classic hedge fund manager, right? Which, keep in mind, these guys have been, it's been hard for them to keep up with an equity market that goes up and up and up. And now it's sort of their time with all this craziness. So when he says, I want Bitcoin, that means he's like, I want something that if the market goes thumbs down on what central banks are doing, that part of my portfolio goes up. That's what I think he's saying when he comes out with crypto. Okay, and that's very powerful for us, naturally, because we've been thinking that the whole time, right? That's why crypto was invented. But to get validation from him, okay, is a big deal. Now, one final comment. There's a monkey see, monkey do element to this. Let's say Tudor Jones comes in and buys crypto and he's right. Okay? Like we said, if he's wrong, it's a short show. What if he's right? Then all these other big guys may have to follow. Something to think about there.
Yeah. And for anybody out there who's a fan of the show Billions on Showtime, great show, by the way. For anybody who's an investor, great show. So the first episode from last week was basically a crypto show where, I don't want to ruin for anybody who's not watched the show, but I mean, the first episode was about crypto. And this is a pretty popular show. I think this is the 4th season, I believe, 4th or 5th season. So it's been going on for a while. One of my favorite shows. Highly encourage anybody out there who likes shows like that to definitely watch that show. So it's good to see that now crypto is now getting more widely accepted and just used. All right, let us know what you think. Do you think we're do you think we're right? Do you think we're wrong? Do you think it's somewhere in between? Let us know in the comments below. All right, let's check in here with the audience. Okay, somebody's saying yes, I want to buy. Okay, so people are talking about their coins. Let's cool off with the coins. Okay, halving is tomorrow. Price. So for those who missed, go back to the beginning of the stream. We did cover the halving and our take on it. Okay, somebody's saying, can I buy gold from any magazine and go pan for it anywhere in the world? There's no need for gold. Not sure I understand the question, but okay, so for those who just joined, you can submit your questions by going to mentimeter.com. That's MENTI.com, and use the code 456690. That's 456690. Okay, so this is an interesting question, a question that has been getting pretty popular this week. So the question is, Loom Network, is it dead? And any thoughts on that? Yes, we do have any thoughts. So for those who don't know, I was an investor in Loom Network back in 2018 during their private sale. So it was a project I was bullish on. It peaked at an all-time high of about 10x. It got onto Coinbase, got onto Binance, And even I was surprised. So for those who don't know, it was going viral on Twitter that Loom Network is dead. And let me pull up the post here. So there was an article on Cointelegraph talking about this. So the founding team. So here's the article. It looks like the Loom Network has thrown in the towel. This is by Benjamin Pires. So it goes on to say that this channel is now closed. Loom Network has pivoted from blockchain games to enterprise. Therefore, we've decided to consolidate our public channel so our staff can focus on enterprise sales, support, and outreach. This was from their Telegram group posted on May 9th. Then somebody also had a Twitter thread talking about the project being dead. So I did reach out to one of the founders, James. James was the person I dealt with. I had a chat. He's the one I also interviewed on our channel 2 years back. Excuse me. And he told me he left the company last year, and I was shocked. I mean, I didn't really know he had left, but he told me essentially that the project or the other founders wanted to pivot towards focusing purely on enterprise because whatever they were working on with I guess retail or consumer wasn't really working. So they wanted to shift the business model, and James wasn't really on the same page with that, so he left last year. And then this year, based on the news, it looks like the other founder, who was the main founder, I believe, Matthew Campbell, has also left. Actually, sorry, I'm not sure if he's the main founder. I know there were 3 founders. So based off of that, 2 of the founders have left. So it looks like there's just one other founder left on the team. Don't quote me on that because I haven't delved deep into this. But according to this, it seems they haven't really met their goals. The space has gotten crowded. It's been tough being an altcoin, especially in crypto. But I think they've still done well. They've still executed. The staking was not well received. I know a few people did pitch me the staking. Some providers did pitch me the staking service. That didn't really pan out well. The ROI and the lockup just didn't really make much sense. So that's why we never got involved with that. But according to James, who I spoke with via Telegram, they haven't really... The project is not dead per se. They're just switching business models. Now, the question remains to be seen whether the new business model of focusing purely on enterprise will have a utility or use case for the token itself, the Loom token. If the new business model does not use the token, then yes, the token is basically dead. RIP, as we say. But if it does still use the token, then the project is not dead. It's just that they're pivoting to a purely enterprise-based business model. Now, what is concerning is if that's the case and they're shutting down all public communication channels, then how are current token holders going to really have any insight into what's happening with the project? I think that definitely is something to be concerned with. But with that being said, I think we just have to wait and see. I currently don't have any Loom Network. I sold mine, as mentioned before. A while back, I think either 2018 or 2019. Well, actually, most of my Loom Network was hacked. So, I mean, somebody else sold most of it. But the few that I did have left, I did sell that a while back. But, I mean, with that being said, a project we probably like better now is Matic Network. It's kind of doing the same thing. It's trying to make dApps on Ethereum scale better, and Matic has a lot more. I think I would say it has a bigger community now. Coinbase were also investors in Matic as well, Coinbase Ventures, so definitely check that out. But I mean, it is crypto. At the end of the day, anything could happen, and we've seen even good projects either run out of money or just shut down, or just anything can happen. So always remember, when investing in crypto, even when something is very good, when it seems like it's a home run, there's always risk involved. And I think the best way to really sum it up is by this famous story from Howard Marks. And it goes something kind of like this. There's a horse bettor who's betting on a horse, and this horse is racing against nobody. It's racing against itself. All the other horses forfeit or quit. So all the horse has to do is just finish the race. So this guy thinks it's a slam dunk. It's a home run. There's no way he can lose. He goes out there and he bets the house, the farm, everything, his life savings on this, because he's like, this horse is not racing against anybody. It just has to finish the race. It's going to win. It's a slam dunk. So the horse race begins, and halfway through the race, the horse jumps over the fence and runs away, and ends up not winning. And the guy just gets wrecked. He capitulates. It's basically the worst day of his life. And it's pretty ironic because that came from something that looked so sure, so certain. But it just goes to show you that there's always risk in everything you do. Even when something seems like it's 120% guaranteed, there's always a risk. That's one thing I learned myself from taking the Series 65 investment advisor exam is in everything you do, there's always a risk. Even the risks you can't see, whether it's in crypto, whether it's project risk, founder risk, liquidity risk, political risk, currency risk, market risk. So there's risk in everything you do. So you have to factor that in. Even when something looks perfect, there's always a risk involved. So when it comes to Loom Network, I mean, it's definitely unfortunate. So curious to see what happens next. Hopefully there's more news. But I think I'll probably be cautious and just kind of play a wait and see approach. But what do you guys think? Do you think the project is dead? The token is dead? Do you think this new business model will work out? Let us know down in the comments below. Now, I guess, Bill, are you able to pull up Loom Network on the charts?
I was just looking at it.
Okay, all right. Yeah, let's have Bill take a look at that.
Okay, just give me one moment. It's coming
Okay,
up.
no worries. Okay, let's check the comments here. Seems we have lots
so
of...
we're looking at Loom, and I've seen this before, right? So this right here was the prior low in Loom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I call this the CEO quit pattern, right? You have a low, okay, and then that low gets broken, and then everybody throws in the towel, okay? Now,
Mm-hmm.
in some cases, that's good. In some cases, that's an opportunity. In some cases, you should just pack it up and go home.
Yeah.
But I've seen this before with these altcoins where there's this huge heave below a prior extreme, and then, then you have to evaluate it from there. So if you love this and you know about it and, you've got some insight, now's your big chance to buy. Otherwise, it's like Ian said, better to have played and lost and cut your losses than wreck yourself on any one token. So, but this is definitely the CEO quit pattern.
Now, Cosmos also had something similar to that, right? Because I know one of the founders did leave Cosmos because Cosmos hasn't really had a good year as well.
Right. So let me get to Cosmos. Okay. So yes, we did talk about this. Okay. So this is the prior low in Cosmos, really focusing in. Okay. This was the prior low, and they ran down below it and they've retested it, and it looks like everybody's selling Cosmos, honestly. Now, on the subject of risk, okay, maybe you don't do it in Loom Network, but maybe in a project you like fundamentally, if you said, well, hey, I'd like to have this in my portfolio, okay, this is the time when you would do that, right? When everyone's quitting, when the news is horrible, right? I mean, unless the whole blockchain falls apart, how much worse can the news get in a project that has good fundamentals? So, right. As you say, it's not investment advice, but, if you wanted to get in at a moment where everyone is giving up, this could be the moment in Cosmos.
Makes sense. I mean, so as we like to say, if anybody out there who's a value investor, that's really the strategy, right? You want to buy when people are being forced to sell, when people are getting out, when there's blood in the streets, because you want to buy when there's blood in the streets and sell when people are going to the moon. Or put it a different way, you want to buy from pessimists and sell to optimists. You want to buy from people that are wrecked and sell to people and sell to moon boys and girls. So, and I think that's really something to kind of keep in mind. Now, I mean, Cosmos is a project we're still bullish on. So, to us, the fact that it's dipping is actually a good thing. But obviously, it remains to be seen what happens after that. Okay, all right. So let's check in here with our audience and see how we're doing. Okay, apologies. Not sure what's going on here with the OBS. Every time Bill does the screen share, it changes the screen. Okay, let me try to fix that again. Apologies, everybody. This is what happens when you do the show live. Okay, I think we've got it now. Okay, there we go. We have Bill back. Don't worry, guys. There is no conspiracy theory here. All right, so checking in here with the audience. Let's take a look here. How much did they get in the ICO? So they raised about 25 million in the ICO. I saw in the article they mentioned 45 million, but that's definitely wrong. I mean, because I was an investor in Loom in the private sale. They had a private sale only, and their hard cap was 25 million. Now maybe they're counting maybe when the price of Ether went up or something like that. But yeah, I know that's definitely not right what they have on ICO drops. Then Charles says 95% of alts did this. The team just dumped on everyone. Yes, I mean, I think it's definitely concerning, and I think that's why regulation is definitely required in crypto, especially when it comes to altcoins. I'm not sure about projects like Loom and others where founders just quit, whether they still have access to all their tokens. Now, speaking of that, there was an article here regarding Jet McCaleb, who was the early co-founder of Ripple, who's now the founder of Stellar. So this was from the Block Crypto. Let me just pull up the article if I can. And I think this really goes to show you why regulation is needed in crypto, because it's still the wild, wild west. Actually, I think the joke now is really becoming that it's probably easier to make money in crypto by launching your own project than by investing or trading. Because it looks like anybody out there who wants to make money, the fastest way is to just launch your own coin. So here, I just found the article. I'm pulling this up. Just give me 1 minute. So the Ripple co-founder, Jet McCaleb, who's now the founder of Stellar, he's sold over $176 million worth of Ripple since early 2016. I mean, talk about making money. So this is from the Block Crypto. Ripple co-founder Jet McCaleb has sold over $175 million worth of XRP since early 2016. So they even have this chart here. Let me pull this up into a different image. So beginning since Q2 2016, he sold, this is based in millions, so 290,000. Then all the way till Q4 2017, which was basically towards the beginning of the peak of the ICO boom, he sold over 9 million. Then Q1 2018, he sold over 12 million. Then Q4 2018, he sold over 36 million. Then Q3 2019, 22 million, and Q1 2020 over 26 million. So this is a project he left a long time ago. So, I mean, with most other startups, typically the founders have vesting, meaning that if they leave a project, they don't get that equity. So, for example, if a founder has, let's say $10 million worth of equity in a project, and he has 4-year vesting, that means he only gets $2.5 million every 1 year, every 12 months. So if he leaves after 2 years of working with the project, he only gets $5 million worth of that 10 million. The other 5 million goes back to the team. But in crypto, I don't really think projects have that. I think most projects, most altcoins, this is why the space has such a bad reputation, especially with altcoins. When people launch a project, the founders get all the tokens up front. Now, maybe they have vesting, but the vesting, even if they leave the project, they still get all the tokens. Like here, as we see, Jet McCaleb is getting all this XRP. Now, I'm not sure whether he left any other XRP on the table, but this says that he was awarded 9 billion XRPs for co-founding Ripple. So back then it was called OpenCoin, but then it changed over to Ripple. And according to this, he's offloaded 819 million. So he's only done about 10%. So he still has like 90% left in XRP, I believe. Don't quote me on this. I have to go through the article. But I think it's pretty crazy. It's insane. Now, what's your take on this, Bill? On founders not having vesting or just dumping?
Okay, well, for the crypto investor space, these stories or this idea of smart money or insiders buying something and then unloading it on unsuspecting retail investors, frankly, it's as old as the hill. It's older than me. It's twice as old as me. It was going on in the 1920s.
Wow.
So, like for example, in the .com boom, I remember the Surgeon General, this odd-looking gentleman. His name was Dr. Coop, right? And they started drcoop.com. This was about, 15 people sitting on milk crates in an office in Austin, and it had a multi-billion-dollar valuation when it IPO'd.
Wow.
So the excess that's gone on in equities, if you read the story of the 20s, crypto is just kind of replicating all these things. So yes, we could use regulation, but cowboys will be cowboys, right? The market eventually finds these people out, which is probably why something like Ripple doesn't move anymore, right? So the market will find the quality, and the volatility and price appreciation will flow towards quality. And again, you've heard the homework lecture on Token Metrics live stream before. I won't give it to you again, but you got to do your homework. You got to watch the charts. You got to watch the models, because the sharks are out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely unfortunate. In crypto, you just got to be careful. You have to always do your own research. Let us know what you think. Do you think this is good or bad? Let us know down in the comments below. All right, let's go back to the live stream here. Okay, somebody's asking, how are you and Will or Bill doing during this weird time? Stay safe. Thank you for that. We're doing all right. I'm here at home. I am kind of getting tired of being at home. I've been here because I was quarantined before the quarantine. So hopefully once things get back to normal, which will take a while, I definitely do want to travel somewhere outside of DC. I haven't had a chance to get out of DC in a while. How about you, Bill?
All right. Well, I'm having some interesting experiences. I know people in New York. I know people who know people. Let's just say they've had serious emotional troubles over this. A lot of people breaking down, crying. So it looks difficult, and it is difficult, right? Mm-hmm. Managing your emotions during this time is a lot harder. I mean, someone will write a book about it eventually, but it ain't available to us now. So bringing that back, and then there's crypto on top of it, which is, you've got to be like an Iron Man to survive in this environment. So it's tough. Be mindful of your emotions. Normally, the live stream cuts out every time I talk about the virus, so I'll keep it to the minimum. Okay. I think it's very serious. I'm okay, but I don't know if I can say that for the rest of the world. Right.
Yeah.
It's
that is unfortunate. So same to anybody out there, wherever you are, we just hope you're safe, you're quarantined, your family is safe. I mean, because we have to stay safe to really benefit from all our work here in crypto and Bitcoin, right? It'll be unfortunate for people to not have a chance to be a part of this down the road in the future. So we hope and wish everyone out there is safe. Okay, so I've kind of skipped ahead and picked this question here because I like this question. I think it's pretty good. So this person is asking, it seems that crypto investing is based a lot on speculation. Even using data analysis on previous market data does not guarantee future events. So is there actually any concrete strategy to adopt? I mean, I personally think so. Bill, how about you begin with this?
Okay, so, when we do this show, Ian is the quantitative guy and I'm the qualitative guy. So, and Ian's models, will adjust themselves. He'll tell you that, models compete against each other to come up with the best answer. That's how I remember it. Right? And with me, technical analysis changes, right? So in certain environments, you look at one set of indicators, and in others, you have to look at a different set. So think of it as a platform. The platform is never stable. You're always surfing. So is there one rigorous methodology to push a button and get the answer? No. That's why we have a show with a quantitative guy and a qualitative guy, right? Because we know that platform that we all have to stand on in crypto is always moving.
Yeah, well said, well said. And to add on to that, so I think we have to kind of have perspective. So most people in crypto, and I think anybody who had a non-professional trading or investing background, when they come into crypto, they treat it like gambling. They're just throwing money at exchanges and waiting for everything to pump, and then they learn from trial and error. And for me personally, when I got into crypto, I was doing the same thing, quite frankly. I mean, I've talked about this in my earlier videos. When I joined back in late 2016, early 2017, we would just go onto Poloniex, and they had the troll box, and they had the top coins of the day. We would find the coins in green, like XRP was up 100%, and we would just throw money at it, and then it would pump to 300%. I mean, so it was literally gambling. But then after a while, when we had more losses than wins, we knew we had to shift our strategy. And I think that's what happens to anybody out there who discovers these methods of analysis and research and trading or investing. We realize that humans are flawed. Humans are emotional. They go wherever the wind blows. They go wherever the market blows. So we realize we have to have a system that we stick to through thick and thin. And I think that's where value investing or technical analysis or quant trading or investing is helpful, because it's a system you can follow, and almost in a manner, it's almost scientific. It follows the same process as the scientific method. For anybody out there who's a scientist or engineer, it's a logical system somebody can follow through thick and thin. Now, whether or not it's right or wrong is really irrelevant. Obviously, the idea is to be right more than you're wrong, but at the end of the day, the idea is to have a system you stick to, a system that's a lot more efficient than just going based on your gut, or because that's just gambling. So with Token Metrics, our system, yes, it's not perfect. I mean, no investor out there is perfect. Anybody who tells you that is trying to scam you. I mean, even the best investors in the world, Warren Buffett, has lost money this year. I think he's lost over $50 billion. He basically got clobbered with airlines. So even the best investors lose money. So don't try to be perfect. The main thing is to try to be better than your gut, and try to be better than average if possible, right? Try to outperform the index and the market. If you can't do that, then it's probably better to just invest in the index. But in general, our system of using Token Metrics, which is applying data analytics and now machine learning to investing in cryptocurrencies, was designed to really give you an edge. So for example, right now, at least with our system, it's been performing pretty well in 2020. We already have good testimonials and people out there who's saying they've been making money with it. For example, calling the dip when Bitcoin went below 4,000, and some people bought, and now Bitcoin is almost 9,000. So people have already made money on that, especially those who maybe were trading even with leverage, but even with all the smaller altcoins, because at the end of the day, there's so many scams in crypto. So our job in a way is really to filter out the scams, to go dumpster diving in the garbage and find those hidden gems and find the next block stack, the next Matic Network, the next Cosmos, the next whatever. Because just because there are lots of scams does not mean that you should not invest in everything. Because what if the next Bitcoin is right there and you miss it? So our system is really just having, first of all, a system that we stick to through thick and thin, and a system we can measure and test and improve upon that's a lot more efficient than just being a human and just relying on your gut. And so going back to your question, yes, all systems are flawed, and yes, all systems in some manner are pure speculation, but the idea is being able to scientifically test your system and see when it's working and when it's not working. So because of that, I think that's why anybody I know who's successful in investing or trading for that matter has some form of system, some form of strategy that they stick to. I mean, even Warren Buffett, the best investor of all time, has a system of value investing. And I highly encourage you to go out there and read the books from his mentor, Benjamin Graham, the Intelligent Investor. The books I like the most when it comes to value investing are the books by Howard Marks. So The Most Important Thing and Mastering the Market Cycle. Very good books for anybody out there who wants to learn more about value investing. But I definitely do think, even if we're in crypto, we definitely do have to have a strategy, because crypto is very volatile. And not having a strategy, not having a system, leads you to losing a lot of money, a lot more money than if you don't have a system, in my opinion. But let me know what you think. Do you think people should have systems when it comes to investing in crypto? Or do you think it's all just pure speculation and systems don't really make sense? Let us know down in the comments below. All right, but good question, whoever asked that. Thank you for that. Okay, so Bill, I guess, how are we on time with you?
We've got some more time.
Some more time? Okay, cool. So let me check here with the comments, see how we're doing. Okay, people talking about 2017, what a year to be alive. 2017 was definitely a good time. People talking about John McAfee launching his own coin. Ghost. Okay, did not know that. We'll have to look into that. Okay, so next question. Okay, it's kind of the same as the last one. So this person is asking, could the crypto dream really be a dream? LOL. So basically saying, is crypto a dream? Is crypto a fantasy? Are we all here just preaching to the choir? What's your take on this, Bill?
Okay, well, this is not something we talk about openly because we are in the crypto business. Okay, but we do have to acknowledge that there is a group of people out there that think we're just sort of dreaming some big dream that'll never happen. Okay?
Right.
So, the price action will tell you. Like, for example, I mean, if you wake up 2 days from now and equities are falling and Bitcoin is falling with it, that might be a point of concern, right? Now, my counterpoint to that is, somebody said, I want to fly across or I want to swim across the English Channel. And somebody said, oh, you can't do that. Somebody said, oh, I want to run a 4-minute mile. And somebody said, oh, no, you can't do that, right? So every time you want to do something big, there's always someone telling you that you're full of it and it's not going to happen. So crypto's no different, right? Experiments fail, we could fail. However, we are not getting up in the morning and doing this for a living because we believe those people. So they're out there, they have a view, okay, great. It's different from our view. But we respect them. I don't know if they respect us, but we respect them and their opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think well said. Now, just to kind of add my take on it, crypto is in no way, shape, or form, at least in my opinion, a dream. I mean, yes, we could be wrong, but I think from a probability standpoint, we have a better chance of being right than we do of being wrong. Because just look at crypto where it is today and where crypto has come from. Crypto has gone from zero to having a market cap that's basically around 200 billion. So would you say the $200 billion in crypto now is a dream? It's a pipe dream? I mean, because if it is, I mean, if that's a dream, I'll take that dream any day. I mean, because that's quite a dream already. And then just looking at the possible potential for growth. Because first of all, look at all the big companies joining the crypto space. Not blockchain, but crypto specifically. Facebook Libra is creating its own cryptocurrency. JP Morgan is creating the JPM coin. PNC Bank is working with XRP and they've joined RippleNet and Ripple's network. So if all this is a dream, why does big companies, why is Samsung supporting crypto wallets? I mean, if all this is a dream, that's quite a dream. I mean, Stellar has a partnership with IBM. I mean, if that's a dream, that's quite the dream. But to me, all these big companies who entered crypto specifically last year, I mean, really just shows us that this is the future. I mean, Facebook would not be going to central banks, to Congress, and trying to defend Facebook Libra if they thought crypto was just a dream. They view crypto as the future. The Chinese central bank is creating its own digital currency that's really a cryptocurrency. Obviously, it's centralized, but it's still crypto. I mean, so they obviously view that as the future. It's not just purely a dream. Then the same thing, if we look at with the recent pandemic here in the US, in the initial bill, they had a digital dollar in there. Now, I know lots of conspiracy theorists don't like the whole digital dollar and going cashless, but either way, I mean, crypto is really the way forward, stablecoins especially. And then if we look at the World Economic Forum, they believe by the year 2027, 10% of the world's assets will be tokenized, basically in crypto. And then the Royal Bank of Canada also believes that about $9 trillion worth of assets will be in crypto, right? So looking at those two estimates, that means in less than 10 years, over about $9 to $10 trillion will be in crypto. So these are from institutions that aren't really that bullish on crypto per se, but even they see it coming. And then we have all these other investors coming in, right? So for Wall Street to come into crypto, for all the central banks to come into crypto, I don't think this is a dream. I think you really have to wake up. I mean, so if you're still dreaming by now, you're probably gonna miss the rocket ship, unfortunately, right? And I mean, not to kind of sound like a moon boy, but I mean, if you've done your research, you know that this is in no way, shape, or form a dream. This is as real as it gets. And if you're there still daydreaming, you might get left on Earth, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of my take on it. But tell us what you think in the comments below. All right, that was actually a good question. I like that one. Let's check in the comments here. Okay. Once again, the Menti code is 456690. That's 456690. Go to menti.com to put in that code and ask your question. Okay, I'm seeing some questions we've already answered here. Okay, this is a question about Satoshi. All right, so do you believe that Satoshi Nakamoto has intentionally designed BTC to have these cycles every 4 years that would help increase BTC's value over time? He's bound to hold plenty of them. Well, I mean, I think this part we already know. Yes, so Satoshi, when he created Bitcoin, he did design Bitcoins every 4 years or so for Bitcoin to have its reward ratio. So right now it's going from 12.5 to 6.25, I believe, right? So the block rewards, and this is called the halving for anybody who's not been following or who's brand new to crypto. So in less than 24 hours, in about 23 hours from now, when we're filming this video, Bitcoin's block reward will cut in half, right? So from 12.5 coins per block to 6.25 coins per block. So Bitcoin was designed by this. Now, I wouldn't say this was intentional, but in a way, I guess you could say it was. this was really him wanting to make Bitcoin scarce, and he wanted to have the inflation of Bitcoin be unlike anything out there, right? Because with regular inflation and fiat currencies, they just keep on printing money. Bitcoin is finite, and the number of Bitcoins ever produced is capped at 21 million. So with this block reward, he wants to make sure that as Bitcoin ages in time, it gets more and more scarce and the inflation decreases. So in a way, you could say he indirectly did design it like that. Any comments or thoughts on this, Bill?
Sure. So the big question frequently is, who is Satoshi? The thing I like to think about is, when did Satoshi do his thing? He did it in 2008, okay, which is the last time we had a crisis in major institutions, because it was all created under this idea that, one day there might be a crisis not just in banks, but in governments and in their money. But really, if it's a crisis in their money, it's a crisis in confidence with the government. Now, I don't want the live stream to crash, but I think it's fair to say that with the coronavirus, globally, governments have screwed up. They have screwed up so badly that people may turn away and say, I want something different. So it's not who he is, it's when he did this thing and when his vision comes to fruition, which would be now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, well said. And I think for anybody out there, it really, I mean, at least for me, I think that definitely does make sense. Okay, apologies. I'm just trying to catch up with all the comments coming in here. All right. Okay, so yeah, this is definitely quite the live stream. Definitely the biggest live stream we've had to date, especially with the new Token Metrics YouTube channel. If you haven't yet already, be sure to go to youtube.com/tokenmetrics and subscribe. We're posting daily videos every single day. That new channel is now, at least last month, it grew over 26%. So we're trying to keep the channel growing even more. So definitely make sure you join that. For those watching this on Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, or my personal YouTube channel, make sure you go to the Token Metrics YouTube channel and subscribe and turn notifications on so you get the daily videos we post there every single day. Because we do know not everybody can watch these long live streams, so we do post the clipped versions or short clips anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes from the live stream, so you guys can kind of get the Cliff Notes version of that on different topics we cover from the live stream. Okay, hey Barry, great to have you here. Then Amit says missing Moon Lamba music. Thank you. All right, so let me see if we can get some of the questions here from the audience. So regarding the forum, so for anybody who's not joined yet, be sure you join the forum for Token Metrics. Go to forum.tokenmetrics.com. We have given out all the awards for the forum contest. So we announced the winners. Those were for the basic plan, the hodler plan, and the investor plan. So congrats to all the winners out there, and thank you for everybody who was actively engaged in the community. As you can see here, we have over 400 people that have joined the forum already, and we're building up this Token Metrics community and ecosystem. So if you have any questions outside of the live stream and you'd like to talk amongst other crypto investors and traders, this is the forum to go there and do that. As you can see here, some of the questions we have, we answered some of these questions on some prior live streams, such as how to invest 10K, people asking about Algorand, 100K Bitcoin by end of 2021. I mean, all these are good questions, actually. So let me see if we have any other recent ones. People talking about gold, hidden secrets of money, cashless economy, different projects they're looking to invest in. Tika's 5 coin to 5 million has been a popular thread. So definitely be sure to check that one out. Talking about Elrond, Atom, crude oil. It's definitely the place to be for crypto. I mean, even people talking about David Icke. All right. Well, let me just check here. I think for the most part, we're finished with most of the questions. Okay, so I see more questions are flowing in. people are really talking about Bitcoin not being real. I'm not sure if this is people are trolling here. Okay, so let's answer this again. Do you believe that Bitcoin may be killed off once people realize that its system does not allow mass adoption with its low throughput and high latency? Okay, so this isn't really a question against Bitcoin or crypto per se. It's just more about Bitcoin. I mean, so I've mentioned before, long term, I'm personally bullish on Ethereum. 10 years from now, by 2030, I think Ethereum will have surpassed Bitcoin in usage and market cap. Right now, all signs lead to Ethereum being number one, I think, in the next 10 years. That's kind of my take from going to Osaka, Japan, and going to Ethereum DevCon, meeting all the developers there. The Ethereum network of developers is huge. Obviously, it's nowhere close to Bitcoin yet, but I think at the way it's growing, if we can project where it's going to be in 10 years, I definitely strongly believe Ethereum will be king. Because if we just look at DeFi, decentralized finance, that's happening on Ethereum. It's not happening on Bitcoin, it's happening on Ethereum. And for anybody who has BTC, you can access that on Ethereum through wrapped BTC, wrapped Bitcoin, right? WBTC, for example, where you basically use Bitcoin as collateral and then create a token on Ethereum blockchain, and you can use that to trade on DeFi platforms. So if we look at regular derivatives market, which is about $500 billion, if that gets tokenized and put on a blockchain, I strongly believe that's going to happen on DeFi and Ethereum and not on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is designed to be a store of value. It's designed to be digital gold. And I think that's the use case that eventually will win out. There have been other projects that have been trying to bring smart contracts and dApps to Bitcoin, like Blockstack, like Rootstock, and Riff, but those haven't really taken off yet. But Ethereum is taking off. We have Ethereum 2.0, ETH 2.0 coming out, which is changing from proof of work to proof of stake. I mean, so if I was a betting man and I had to pick which crypto 10 years from now will be the most widely used, I would have to say Ethereum. I mean, that's kind of my take. I know all the BTC Maximus want to roast me and hate me for that, but at the end of the day, you can't really romanticize investing or how you make your money. You have to be rational. You have to be open. And I think for anybody out there who's not married to Bitcoin, who's looking at this from a purely objective standpoint, you definitely do realize that Bitcoin has its shortcomings, and Bitcoin, in a way, has one use case where it's really dominating and where it's widely used for, but Bitcoin can't dominate everything. And that's kind of my take on that. How about you, Bill?
Well, very simply, Bitcoin's got to solve the quantum computing problem, right? And so do all proof of work cryptocurrencies. Okay, so I'm not a technical expert, but I understand quantum computing is not only coming, but is potentially a threat to these type of blockchains. So all technologies have challenges. I'm sure Bitcoin is going to have to deal with its challenges like quantum computing. I do also think proof of stake coins are going to be the future. Okay. However, between now and the future of proof of stake, there's a period where digital gold, alternative money, alternative investment, right? Just because something may not be number one in 20 years or 10 years doesn't mean it has no use or no present or no short-term future, right?
Right.
So, big picture, proof of stake. Short term, I don't know. What do you want? Paper issued by a government or a cryptocurrency?
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's fair. Let us know what you think. I mean, share your thoughts in the comments below. We're definitely curious. We invite you to share your perspective. Okay, all right. Going on to the next questions here. Okay, somebody's talking about Rocket Pool. Not sure what that is, so let's skip that. Okay, I think let's skip the TA for now. We've kind of done most of the TA during crypto therapy. Neo, go to Token Metrics. We have covered that, and we have covered our thoughts on Nash. We're not so bullish on that. Okay. So this has been coming up a lot. What do you think about John McAfee's new Ghost token? It's going to the hodlers of ESH, not sure what that is, 1-to-1, which has already 5x'd in 1 week. Going to be a privacy coin, and he tweeted about it launching on the 25th. Okay, so quite frankly, this is the first time I've heard about this. Now, we did have John McAfee on the 100x show for an interview. He's definitely a very interesting character, to say the least. One of the most interesting shows we've had in a while, if not ever. I would say that show, and maybe the one with I'm Not the Wolf, who's also known as Wolf of Poloniex. Those were probably the most, how do I put this? Yeah, I would say most entertaining and unexpected shows we've had ever on the 100x show. Now, let me see if I can pull this up here, because this is the first time I've heard about it. Have you heard about this, Bill? The McAfee token?
No, I have not.
Okay, so I'm seeing it here. I just pulled up the website. If this is the correct website. So Ghost by McAfee. Ghost is a proof of stake privacy coin to help make you nothing but a ghost when transacting online. Okay, that is very McAfee-esque. So privacy, decentralized, faster transaction times, low fees, masternodes. Okay, so you get the Ghost rewards from staking and from running a masternode. So question that comes to mind is, I wonder what privacy coin they forked this from, because most privacy coins usually are a fork of a different coin. Okay, so in the beginning, 6 new Ghost tokens are minted each block. 3 ghosts are split between masternodes. 2 ghosts are split between stakers. 1 ghost goes into a pool used for future ghost development and growth. So total supply is 55 million, and initial supply is about 13.5 million. Okay, so it says how to get Ghost. To claim your Ghost at launch for free. Okay, that is interesting. You must be holding ESH token on May 25th. Okay, I have to look up that one. Haven't heard of that one yet. 25% of the Ghost supply will be allocated to ESH token holders. The remaining supply of Ghost is allocated towards proof of stake rewards. So it's on McAfee desk, the IDEX, and okay, so ESH token. This is a token I have not heard of at all. So let us look this up here. Okay, so this is Switch. Okay, so this pulls up CoinGecko and pulls up their website. First of all, let me see the liquidity on this. Okay, so this is pulling up MetaMask. Okay, so okay, is this like Switch.io? This is what I get. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't really know where the, and there's no GitHub here. All I see is a Telegram and a Twitter. Does anybody know if this is a fork of anything? And the white paper is not out yet. So I would say probably definitely best to wait and see when the white paper comes out. Obviously, we haven't done any research on this before. This is just kind of looking at the initial website. But if it's free, if you get it free, so I would say if anybody already has ESH token and you get this for free, it's basically an airdrop, so you don't really have anything else to lose. But in terms of buying this, right now we can't really say anything. But for any new cryptocurrencies, we're generally skeptical and generally cautious. We definitely prefer to wait until there's some price action. And especially looking at this, I doubt it's going to be on any of the major cryptocurrency exchanges. So it's probably going to be illiquid and probably be on DEXs or on the lower end of exchanges. This does seem to be its own exchange, but it's not really telling us much in terms of, okay, see here, there's a Bitcoin talk thread, and trading volume for this is about 480,000 on CoinGecko, and the market is on. Most of the volume is on IDEX. Okay, so I mean, if anybody has small amounts of money, it seems this is where it's trading. But I think for now I would say probably be cautious of this and only touch it if you have ESH tokens already, and it's basically just free money at that point. Anything else to add to that, Bill?
Just one thing. This guy, you have to admire him. He just doesn't quit. I don't know. I don't know if he's legit, but the guy just keeps trying to do something with crypto. Now, he may wind up being a famous outlaw when they write the history books, but the guy just never stops, right?
Right.
He's got to get points for at least that.
Yeah, absolutely. But let us know what you think. I mean, anybody here who thinks this, anybody who's bullish or bearish on this, let us know in the comments below. Curious to see what people think about this. Okay, all right. Back to the Mentimeter. Okay, do you and KuCoin team do you think Multivac is a scam? Honestly, I don't really know. I haven't really kept tabs on Multivac since then. I know it hasn't performed well. Okay, next question. Hi, Ian and Bill. This is Mike. Hey, Mike, great to have you here. I really appreciate you guys for guiding us. Thank you for that. My question is how to conquer fear so one can invest freely. Okay, good question. This is kind of for anybody out there who's maybe new to investing or new to crypto. Bill, so any tips on how somebody can conquer fear when it comes to investing?
Yes, I've got a few. So the first thing you have to do is get comfortable being uncomfortable. Okay? So if you're going to buy when everyone else is selling, it's not going to feel good. It isn't. And when you're selling, when everybody's talking about Lambos, you're going to feel like an idiot for getting off the train. Now, here's an exercise that I recommend. I won't do it on camera for developing this mechanism. So sit in your favorite chair, get comfortable, and then stand up fast. And then sit back down and get comfortable, and then stand up fast. And start to train your brain to go from comfortable to uncomfortable, because every time you do a trade, you're going to experience that. You're also going to experience it when you watch the market fluctuate, because as you may have noticed, crypto is all over the place. The second tip is you're going to have to learn how to breathe. Okay? Inhale through your nose for 8 seconds, exhale through your mouth for 8 seconds. Try that for a set of 3. Okay? Yes, I know what that sounds like, but I have to do it so I can be clear for you. I have to do it when I think about the coronavirus. Somebody asked about that earlier, right? Mm-hmm. So comfortable, uncomfortable, and breathe.
Yeah, I mean, definitely very good tips to kind of work on your psyche and your mental thought process. Excuse me. I mean, so from my perspective, okay, so I think when it comes to investing, you can know what to do, but as the person in the question is asking, sometimes you can have fear when it comes to pulling the trigger on an investment, on a trade, and I think really you just have to get more confident. And I know that may seem kind of hard to say because it's easy to just tell somebody be confident, and I definitely do realize that. But the only way to get confident, not just in trading, but for anything in life, is from experience. So you have to get, almost in a way, it's kind of situational confidence. But eventually that situational confidence becomes confidence you can leverage in all things you do in life. And I think the best way to get confidence you can apply in all areas in life is to get confident in your thought process and problem solving. So what do I mean by that? I mean, you have to get experience putting yourself out there. So basically, I mean, taking a problem, any problem in life, thinking about different solutions, picking a solution, then applying that solution, and then being okay with the results, whether it's good or bad. And then you just keep on repeating that cycle numerous times, and after a while, you'll get confident in your problem-solving abilities. And once you get confident with your problem-solving abilities, then no matter what problem comes to you, whether it's a unknown problem or a problem you've seen before, you're confident in how you solve problems. So that gives you confidence. I know it's kind of almost like an abstract concept, or it's almost kind of like a meta. It's kind of like the game inside the game. But at least for me, because people have definitely asked me that, Ian, why are you always confident in everything you do? Almost to a point where people think I'm delusional sometimes. And I think it's because I've had to practice thinking on my own so many times that I have confidence in my thought process and in how I take in new unknown information and how I solve it. I think that's also maybe why I'm an engineer. Maybe that's kind of why, but I would say most engineers definitely do have a problem-solving brain where they like taking unknown concepts and solving them. So I can say in terms of getting past your fear, fail. Go out there, fail, practice, and after a while, you get confident from that. So the only way to get confidence is by doing. So yes, you can try to avoid doing things, maybe by paper trading or whatever, but at the end of the day, you have to have accountability on yourself. You have to have onus on yourself. Because me, myself, when it comes to investing, since 2017, like Token Metrics and everything we're doing was something I just created on my own and from talking to other experts in the field and doing my research. And I knew that, okay, this is something that I think would work for me. And I'm comfortable putting myself out here on these live streams with my spreadsheet and now the platform. Because obviously, I don't come from a traditional Wall Street background. I mean, I was a computer engineer who got into crypto and is now doing investing and is now trying to become an investment advisor. I mean, so I'm in a way, I'm kind of cut from a different cloth. I didn't follow the traditional financial path for being or rather working towards becoming an investment advisor. However, I still have confidence in my abilities based on the work I've done, based on things I've been trying out and experimenting, because I think you also have to take this into account. Nobody's perfect. And you also have to believe that nobody is special. I know that may seem counterintuitive, but you can't really put anybody on a pedestal, if that makes any sense. So take the best investor in the world, Warren Buffett, I would say, let's take Warren Buffett, for example. If you think Warren Buffett is some god, some investing god, then you'll never really have faith in yourself, in your own investment abilities, if that makes sense. And this is why whenever people say, Ian, you're amazing or whatever, I try not to, like, I don't like it when people blindly follow me, for example, because they're basically copying out and not doing their own research. That's why I have the phrase, always do your own research, because that forces you to build up the confidence to pull the trigger on your own. Because especially with projects where I turned out being wrong and people come back and say, hey, Ian, we lost money in this project because of you. That tells me, okay, this person didn't build up the confidence to take accountability for their own investments. They're just blindly following somebody else. And as long as they keep on doing that, they'll be tied to that person. They won't really build up their own fortitude, their own strength to be fearless and pull the trigger. I mean, because when I joined the space, there have been some times when we were the first people to pull a trigger on a project before anybody else did. I mean, so for example, we were one of the first, if not, I think we were one of the first early investors in Loom. I think the only two groups that invested in Loom. And with some of the projects, we were the first check in. So we were not there waiting for somebody else to co-sign or give us the green light on this investment. So for example, with Wabi ended up being over 100x investment. We didn't wait for Wall Street investors or Andreessen Horowitz or Coinbase to invest. We were the first investors to pull the trigger. And pardon my French, but sometimes you just have to have like balls of steel and say, you know what? Like, we're not going to wait for anybody else because we believe in our own research. We've done our own research and we're confident in this process. We're going to take the risk and wait for everybody else to get on board and to realize that this is the next big investment. So yes, sometimes we're wrong. Sometimes we end up with sparksters and other bad projects, but sometimes we end up with big wins and we end up getting rewarded for being early. So for example, with Wabi, that's kind of what happened. So I think that just comes from just pure confidence from applying and trying out your own thought process. I know I've kind of been all over the place, but one book I do recommend, this isn't really an investing book. This is more a book on helping with your inner belief system and how you talk to yourself. It's called Cybernetics. This is probably the best self-help book out there. This book is known as being the book that founded the entire self-help industry. So I definitely recommend this book. It's by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. And this book shows you how to tap into your subconscious mind and really reprogram yourself. Now, why this book is so special, because it's different from those other self-help books like The Law of Attraction or The Secret or whatever that are kind of out there with their own woo-woo stuff. This is a book based purely in science. So it's really how to reprogram your brain using science, things that have been fundamentally tested. And this book comes from, I know I'm kind of getting off topic, but this is pretty crucial. This book, so Dr. Maxwell Maltz was a surgeon, and he realized that people would come into his office or his clinic to have surgery because they had limiting beliefs. They had anxiety, they're self-conscious about their body, their looks, whatever. And as a surgeon, his job was to do surgery on them to fix them, right? To fix whatever they thought was wrong with them, whether it was their face or they had an accident and had an issue with whatever part of their body. And he realized that even when he fixed the physical problems they thought they had, months later, years later, the people still had those same limiting beliefs. They still had the same self-doubt. They still had that same anxiety. And he realized that as a surgeon, the issue wasn't physical. It was a mental issue. So he did lots of research into this field, and he realized that to really fix somebody's belief system, whether it's with fear or being self-conscious, you have to fix and reprogram their brain. So this is a great book. I read this back when I was in college and undergrad, and it's one of the books that really changed my life. I mean, so for example, people have fear of public speaking, for example, right? And if you want to reprogram yourself, the book takes you through examples using science. So it's not like some quack out there just teaching some random stuff. This is scientific stuff that shows you how to really reprogram your brain. So for example, there's enough academic literature saying that if you visualize something before doing it, you become more successful. So for example, if you have a fear of public speaking, if you've just practiced visualizing yourself publicly speaking somewhere, like let's say you imagine you're speaking at a conference. If you just do that every single day for like half an hour for like a week or 2 weeks, you'll realize scientifically that your fear of public speaking will subside. So it goes through concepts using techniques like that. So it's a book I definitely highly recommend. So I'm sure for anybody out there who has a fear, maybe in investing or trading, one way that book would probably tell you is maybe just visualize trading, maybe just for half an hour. So in a way, it's kind of like meditating, right? But I don't really blindly believe in meditation, but I do believe in the scientific way of meditating. So in a way, you could say I do believe in meditation, but with the caveat being that it has to be scientific. But anyway, neither here nor there, I do believe in visualizations. And so I would say visualize making the perfect trade. Visualize investing, right? So if you're there and you're nervous about pulling the trigger on Binance or on exchange, maybe for a half hour for the course of 7 days straight, close your eyes and just visualize making a trade or visualize doing a research, right? Just go through that process. And first of all, read that book. There's an audiobook as well. And I think just by going through those concepts, you'll become less fearful when it comes to investing in crypto. Now, I know it's kind of all over the place, but I think that was definitely a good question, a question that lots of people do ask. But yeah, so let us know. Have we missed anything? Anybody else with any tips or strategies they use to make themselves less fearful when it comes to investing or trading in crypto? Please do share down below. All right. Well, Bill, any last words before we wrap up with you? Don't want to keep
Well,
you too long.
no, it's actually I think you really said you said a lot of powerful things there. So I'm just going to leave you with two quotes. One of them is from a successful hedge fund manager. He says, "Thoughts become actions, and actions become events." All right, which is kind of
Yeah.
along the lines of what you were talking about. And then to the gentleman's question, Paul Tudor Jones, that we talked about earlier in the show, is a big hedge fund guy getting into crypto. He has a famous saying: "The best trades are the toughest trades." Okay, meaning you have to be able to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Crypto family, stay safe. Thanks for tuning in. Ian, we'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Take care. Stay safe, and see you after the Bitcoin halving in a totally new world.
Right, in the new world. We'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you, Bill. It was a pleasure. All right, everybody.
We just landed on the moon in the Lambo.
All right. Welcome to the second segment of the live stream. If you're tuning in wherever you are, thank you for watching Token Metrics Live. Once again, every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, we come to you live. I'm here in Washington, D.C. Bill is in Austin, Houston, Texas. And wherever you are, this is Global Crypto Family Unite. Bitcoin halving is right around the corner. So much in store. I mean, this could be Bitcoin's defining moment. If you missed the earlier stream, just be sure to rewind. This is being recorded, so just go back to the beginning. In the first hour and a half, we covered Bitcoin, our thoughts on Bitcoin halving, the TA. Now I'm here to just answer any questions you may have. So let's see here. Let me check in with the comments and see how people are doing. Name of the book? Name of the book is called Cybernetics. So here's the book again. Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. This is a great book on really just self-belief, on building a very strong belief system. So I would say this is one book I recommend. Let me just record this. So this is one book I definitely recommend, Cybernetics. It's about building a powerful belief system. It's about retraining the unconscious mind. And the other book I like is called 177 World Class. Is this the book? Yeah. So here's the other book I definitely recommend as well. So a friend gave this book to me back in college too, when I was having some issues with just doubt, and I got the audiobook of this. Very, very good book too. It's called 177 Mental Toughness Secrets of the World Class. The Thought Processes, Habits, and Philosophies of the Great Ones by Steve Siebold. So these are two books I highly recommend. Let me post these. Let me see if I can get the links to this. Just give me 1 second here. So I read those two books, and man, after those two books, you feel like a god. I mean, I'm not kidding. You feel like you can go out there and conquer anything. I mean, anything. So there's the first book. I posted that in the comments below. So then let me get the other one, Cybernetics. It's because when it comes to investing, you have to have the belief that you can do anything. I mean, and when I say anything, you can do anything. You have to have the confidence of a lion. Like, I mean, is a lion afraid? Because sometimes being fearful gets you killed, right? So here's the book. Here's the first one, Cybernetics. This has an audiobook, a Kindle, a paperback version. Highly recommend you go out there, get this book. Then the other one is this one, 177 Toughness Secrets of the World Class. If you read these two books, you will go out there and conquer the world. I mean, so for anybody out there who wants to have more Confidence 2 and Who Wants to Be Fearful. Those are two books I can highly recommend because I've read those two books. Yes, there may be other books out there, but these are ones I know I've personally read that can help you with reprogramming yourself and just believing in anything. Believing you can go out there and, kind of like in that movie 300, and you're like, this is Sparta. All right, that's kind of those books will definitely make you feel like that. All right, let's check in here with the comments. We Built America, period, says dope. I wish I was here during 2017, man. Such a shame, honestly. I mean, 2017 was definitely a good time, but we're all still here. That's what matters. Please, we need your opinion on Holochain. Some research said that this guys will launch a notable new blockchain system that will soar its price a lot in 2020. So Holochain is on Token Metrics, so be sure to check that out. If everyone said that it's coming, then the massive bull run in history is crypto. Why do we not invest the money in coins like ZRX or Data and wait 12 months and sell? Not sure I understand the question. He's saying, so we're bullish on crypto, and the products we're bullish on, you can view those on Token Metrics. I have shared the name of the book, Cybernetics, and the other one is 177 Mental Toughness Secrets of the World Class. S-Rep says, easily one of the best little books ever written. Yeah, absolutely. Jasper says that book is amazing. Well said. Well said. Confidence equals with faith in Latin. Thank you for that, Paul. Kieran, so we have already covered Bitcoin halving in the beginning of the show, so you could just go back to that. Don't want to repeat ourselves. All right, so good question, guys. Good question. So let me see what other questions we have here from the audience. Okay, well, for 5 weeks now, trading real BTC on a non-custodial DEX. Let me just go through here. Let's see. All right. So Nash, we've covered Nash on every show. Okay, Ian, I want you to create your 5 coins like Tika. So after the bull run, some people can see how good Token Metrics is. Well, we have covered this already. If you just go to tokenmetrics.com, we already have our top coins for the bull run long term. So this isn't really anything new. So if you go to Token Metrics, for example, right? So since it's the BTC halving, we'll go here to Value Investor. So these are currently our top coins as of today. So top coins are Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dash, Maker, Blockstack. Then we can add maybe 5 more. We'll add Matic Network, Cosmos. We're very bullish on Helium. Be careful though, the TA on here is not right because CoinMarketCap has a duplicate Helium. They don't have the correct Helium data yet, but this will update it once they pull that in. Then we have Binance and Eternity. So in a way, you could call this 10 coins to 10 million. The kind of pun intended on Tika Tiwara is 5 coins to 5 million. So these are 10 coins to 10 million. So if we had to build a portfolio of 10 cryptocurrencies as a value investor with a time frame of 12 months or longer, these are the cryptocurrencies we would have in our portfolio. So once again, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dash, Maker, Blockstack, Matic Network, Cosmos, Helium, Binance, and Eternity. Okay, now let's kind of delve deeper into this and really kind of show why we're bullish on all these. Right? So let's pull up one by one. So first up, Bitcoin. If you're in crypto, you have to have Bitcoin in your portfolio. Obviously, not financial advice. We're not telling you to go out there and buy, do your own research. However, Bitcoin is a staple for any crypto investment portfolio long term. Whether you think Bitcoin has peaked or the gains are not there versus altcoins, it's still, in our opinion, should be part of any crypto portfolio. All right, and then same thing with Ethereum. You should have Ethereum in your own portfolio. Ethereum gives you access to smart contracts. It also gives you access to DeFi. If we go to DeFiPulse.com, you can see here, we've had almost $1 billion locked up in the DeFi, in decentralized finance. So Bitcoin and Ethereum are, in our opinion, vital for any crypto investor to have in their portfolio. Then, moving on, we have Dash, right? So let's pull up Dash here. Sorry, let me just pull up Dash Crypto. So Dash.org. For those who don't know, Dash is it's digital cash, right? It lets you use cryptocurrency very fast. It comes from an earlier fork of Bitcoin, but it's faster, right? Faster transaction speed. It's meant to be used online for payments and transactions, and it also has privacy involved, right? So it's also partly a privacy coin. So we think having this in your portfolio, based on our research, at least as of today, this is May 10th, before the Bitcoin halving, definitely does make sense. Dash has also been it's performed relatively well this year already, right? So if we pull up Dash here and go to its performance year to date, so I'm going to pull up the performance metrics. It may have dropped, but Dash early in the year performed pretty well. Okay, yeah, so year to date, Dash is up 70%, if you can see that. 70% versus Bitcoin. Bitcoin is up 18%. So our portfolio has been recommending Dash since the beginning of the year. It was actually our pick for January. So for anybody out there who's used Token Metrics, you've already made money. I mean, so congratulations to that, right? And if we go back to Ethereum and compare that, for anybody who's been holding Ethereum since beginning of the year versus Bitcoin, you've already made 42% on your money. So 42% versus 18%. So, I mean, those are two wins right there. Then we also have Maker. For anybody who wants to hedge and DeFi, for those who don't know, Maker is one of the cryptocurrencies, part of the Maker DAO. Maker and DAI go together. So you use Maker for the DAO and governance, and then you use DAI for a stablecoin. But when you go to DeFi, MakerDAO is the main platform being used. All right, over half of the money being locked up in DeFi is with Maker. Right now, over 800 million is locked up in DeFi. Over 400 million of that is in Maker. Right, so this is something we believe anybody should have in their portfolio. And then, just to show you how powerful and how bullish we are in DeFi, let me pull up this chart. Right, if you just Google DeFi Lego, we get this. Yeah, here's the image I'm looking for. Right, just kind of show you. This gives you exposure to DeFi. So think of this as the DeFi Lego stack. So we have Ethereum, which is a smart contract platform. Then you have Maker as the DApp, the decentralized application being built on top of it. Then you have everything else being built on top of that, right? So our portfolio for 10 coins to 10 million is basically giving you exposure to Ethereum. It's giving you exposure to MakerDAO, right? So it's already off on a win with that. Now let's look at the performance metrics for Maker. So Maker hasn't performed well this year because of the flash crash. So for anybody who got in early, you lost 25%. However, if you use Token Metrics, when the price of Maker today is what? $328. So during the flash crash, when MakerDAO dropped below $800, our models told anybody who's a customer, they were very bullish on Maker. So for anybody who's on Token Metrics and you pulled the trigger, you made money. You actually got into Maker below $200, and now it's over $300. So as we like to say,
take my money. Shut up and take my money.
Right, so you're already in the green, right? So you're already making money on that if you had Token Metrics. If you haven't yet already, we highly recommend you go to tokenmetrics.com to sign up and become a smarter investor. We have a 14-day free trial. Okay, so the fifth coin in our portfolio for 10 coins to 10 million, Blockstack, the first Reg A approved, but I would say Reg A qualified token by the SEC. So this is really one of our small altcoin plays. Okay, this is still very early, still very experimental. Year to date, it's down 3%, but definitely we think, in our opinion, worth having in a investment portfolio, right? So if I pull this up here, Blockstack.org is their site. Blockstack is really trying to become like the next Ethereum. So they're secured by Bitcoin. They use Bitcoin's proof of work to secure their own blockchain, and definitely one worth keeping an eye on. I mean, it has very low market cap. So if anybody who wants a low cap coin that is actually building something and has a very low probability of scamming you, this is probably, in our opinion, the best one out there, right? It has gone through the highest vetting. It's backed by well-known investment companies, right? Silicon Valley, Angel, I believe, Union Square Ventures, and some others. Go to Token Metrics to view the full detail on that. The market cap is very low. So for anybody who wants a safe, obviously nothing is fully safe, but the market cap is about 37 million. So if this does what it can possibly do, if it achieves its potential, this can really do 100x. This can be a $3 billion market cap coin, right? Obviously, not financial advice. Don't go out there and just blindly invest. However, we think having exposure to that in a portfolio does make sense, right? Because look at this. If you look at its current market cap versus the Token Metrics rank, this is a good arbitrage. We think this is a top 5 coin, but its market cap is outside the top 100. So your bang for buck, if this takes off, is very high. Then up next, we have Matic Network. This is a project we discovered all the way back in India in 2018. So this was a project we were very early on. They won our Crypto World Tour event. Coinbase Ventures invested in them. So most people think it's going to get onto Coinbase. It's already on Binance. Year to date, it hasn't really performed too well, only 7%, but they will be launching staking. And for anybody out there who also wants a low cap coin, this, in our opinion, is definitely one worth also putting in your portfolio, right? For those who don't know what they're doing, let me pull it up here. So they're helping Ethereum dApps scale, right? So kind of like what Luma's doing. Luma, in a way, is now pivoting to a different model, but this is a good hedge to have something that can help dApps scale. Obviously, with Ethereum 2.0, this might not be needed anymore. Who knows, right? But however, this is still one, in our opinion, worth having in your portfolio as a hedge to help with Ethereum scaling. Moving on, we have Cosmos. Cosmos has not had a great year so far. Obviously, there was a scandal where one of the founders left the project. However, in our opinion, for anybody who wants exposure to a blockchain that gives you, let me pull this up here, that gives you exposure to a blockchain that's interoperable, Cosmos, in our opinion, is the best blockchain out there for that. I mean, just to show you how widely, this is the most widely adopted interoperable blockchain at the moment. Binance uses this. When Cosmos launched, all the major exchanges listed this project immediately. Binance, OKX, Huobi, all of them. I mean, so the technology is solid. It's just an issue now with really the governance and the founding team. However, we do think having this in a portfolio does make sense. You can check this out by going to cosmos.network. And I mean, this is the most widely used Internet of Blockchains. So it connects other blockchains to each other, right? And Tendermint, lots of projects are using Tendermint underneath. Now, I know Enigma, which is a Ethereum infrastructure protocol, they pivoted to Cosmos as well. So definitely worth keeping an eye on that and worth having exposure to that. Then Helium. Helium, now ignore the market cap here because CoinMarketCap is pulling in the wrong information. But Helium.com is a product I've been bullish on. This is not even trading anywhere yet. So if you want something pre-market, if you want exposure to that, actually, sorry, it is trading now. Recently, it was listed on Biloxi, I believe. This is building a decentralized internet hotspot for IoT devices. So you buy this device. I do have this device. I have been mining this for a while. It's just plug and play. It's kind of like a router. You plug it in, you download a mobile application, and it takes your internet connection and it shares that on their network, and it builds a decentralized internet that other IoT devices can use. Right now, it's only available in the US, but they will be launching internationally, I believe, soon. Right? They're in over 745 cities across the US. So I think definitely worth keeping an eye on this one and having exposure to this. This is really the only project I've been using. Right? Investors include Coastal Ventures, Google Ventures, USV, Multicoin Capital, Silicon Valley Angel, a project we're personally very, very bullish on. So having exposure to that, and as part of this 10 coin to 10 million, we think is definitely something somebody should do. And then number 9, Binance BNB. We all know Binance is the biggest cryptocurrency exchange out there. It's been performing very, very well. This isn't really a shocker to anybody. It gives you exposure to an exchange. Then lastly, this one, pretty surprising to some people, Eternity. So this is a project that our development team really, really likes. So let me pull it up here real quick. Now, honestly, I'm no expert in this project. I just know our team likes it a lot, because looking here at this, if we look at this here, fundamentals are decent and they like the technology a lot. Okay, so our developer really likes the technology. He thinks it's good. This is a blockchain for scalable, secure, and decentralized apps. So it's really just a hedge to a different blockchain system. Feel free to go to their website, eternity.com, check out what they're doing. Go to tokenmetrics.com and view the report on this. But as you can see here, I mean, we definitely, our development team is definitely very bullish. They're competing with Dash, Stellar, EOS, and Tron. This one is meant to be a lot faster. But yeah, so to kind of sum up, that wraps up our 10 coins to 10 million. Let me know what you think, just to kind of give a recap. Once again, top 10 coins to 10 million: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dash, Maker, Blockstack, Matic Network, Cosmos, Helium, Binance, and Eternity. Now, I was saying all these cryptocurrencies will get you to $10 million. Obviously not, right? But I think that if you have this perspective, right, let's kind of add this as a caveat. 10 coins to 10 million in 10 years. Yes, I said 10 years. You have to have a long-term mindset. This is not in 10 days, 10 months. Right now, we're in 2020. We think by the year 2030, if you have this portfolio, and let's say you put in, I don't know, 10,000, whatever, but we think these 10 coins can blow up. These 10 coins can...
We just landed on the moon in the Lambo.
They can take it to the moon and beyond. Obviously, this is just purely our opinion and our research, not financial advice. Every cryptocurrency investing, any form of crypto investing involves risk, right? We're all adults here. If you take any L's, you got to own those L's. But I mean, versus other lists we've seen out there, right? Obviously, we won't name names of other people, but we think this is probably the most, not secure or safe, but we think this is a better list than any list we've seen out there, right? And we have the track record to back that up, right? We've had numerous 100x investments, Wabi, Icon, Dragon Team did 80x. Obviously, those haven't fared well after that, but Icon is still doing well, and some of the other projects. We were early in Chainlink. I was a private sale investor in Chainlink. Chainlink is now top 20. So actually, speaking of that, if we go to, let me pull up CoinMarketCap. So if we go to CoinMarketCap and look at just purely what they have here, right? So if anybody out there on CoinMarketCap, if you go here, what projects have we had exposure to here? So let's see here. So obviously Bitcoin and Ethereum, we got into crypto late 2016, began really investing heavily in 2017. So we invested in EOS, in Tezos, in Chainlink. Wanted to invest in Tron, but I missed that one because it sold out too fast, right? But I mean, we've basically invested in 3 relatively new tokens that entered the top 20, right? So we're very bullish that we'll find the next ones that could possibly enter the top 20. Because think about this for a second. The World Economic Forum has gone on record in their reports saying that they expect 10% of the world's GDP by 2027 being in crypto. So if we take the current GDP and we estimate where that's going to be, so that means in 7 years, crypto is going to be around $8 to $9 trillion industry. And as mentioned before, if we take the Royal Bank of Canada and their estimates, they expect crypto to reach a $9 trillion market cap. So we can say, just to round up, $10 trillion is the expected market cap for all of crypto 10 years from now, let's say, right? So by the year 2030. And if we take that into account, the current market cap for crypto today, as we speak, is 239 billion. So just to kind of put that in perspective, all right? So if we get 10 trillion and we divide that by 239 billion, that means the cryptocurrency market cap today can do over 40x return. So there is still room for growth in crypto. So over 40x return, according to the Royal Bank of Canada and the World Economic Forum. People who aren't really the crypto shills per se, right? These are regular traditional financial institutions, and they think crypto can get this big. So if we're here getting in these projects early, then we strongly believe that these 10 coins, in our opinion, obviously this could change, but as of today, looking at our analysis and research, as of today, May 10th, 2020, so if we come back here in 2030, we think these coins can make you 10 milli. Now, obviously, it depends how much you invest, but if you factor that in, I mean, what a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. Now, with that being said, I don't want to hear from anybody who comes back at the end of the year and says they haven't made 10 million, because you missed the entire message. This is about long-term value investing. So just because the coin goes down 1 or 2 years does not mean it can't bounce back after 10 years, right? So this is purely for a long-term investment perspective, long-term time horizon. This is not for a quick flip. This is not for anybody who's not done your research. I would say, as a requirement for anybody out there who's holding anything, you should read the white paper of any cryptocurrency you're investing in. Because if you don't have an idea what you're investing in, when it goes down, you'll panic sell and you get wrecked. And as we like to say, if you take any L's, please do not mention our name, right? So do your own research, read the white paper, right? So that when you go in with confidence and you have the balls of steel to hold through during those rocky roads, right? Those rocky moments. And that's something everybody should do. But let us know what you think. Is this list better than any list you've seen out there? Is it legit? Or are we completely off point? Have we missed the mark? Let us know down in the comments below. All right, let me check in with the comments here and see how we're doing. Loved your interview with Mike back in the day. Haha, still crazy how much you made. Man, well played. Thank you, thank you. What are some good wallets for them? Okay, not sure what you're talking about. I mean, wallets, Ledger Wallet is a good one. Hardware wallets are definitely recommended. If you want software wallets, Trust Wallet is a decent one as well. Matic Team says ETH2 will scale even further with their platform. Okay, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Excuse me. Chainlink isn't all glitter and glam. Yeah, I mean, we think Chainlink is actually overhyped versus what people think. That's why Chainlink is not on our list. Your thoughts on JST token TRX, which will compete with MakerDAO? We haven't looked at it yet, but not really. I mean, I don't expect us to be bullish on it just from looking at what I've heard, but I haven't really done anything deep on it, so I can't really fully make a comment on that. Thoughts on Hex? We've shared our thoughts on Hex before. I mean, we're not bullish on the project per se, but we mentioned that for anybody who already had Bitcoin and didn't claim the Hex, that was a no-brainer. I mean, it was free money. It was basically an airdrop, and we're not going to turn down any airdrops. So free money is free money. So we were, I think, one of the few people who didn't outright call it a scam. We just said, don't put your own money into it, but definitely do take that free money if you had Bitcoin and take that free claim. Why not Ripple? Well, I mean, Ripple, I mean, just you can go to tokenmetrics.com to view our full report on it, but Ripple is not really a top 10 coin in our opinion. I mean, the XRP is not really being widely used. So as a value investor, it's not something we would put our money in per se. All right. Okay. All right. So let me see if we have any other questions here. But good question. Whoever asked that. All right. Do you believe in coin hunting in order to discover new prospects? Or is it a better idea to simply stick with the proven coins that are the most secure to invest in? So we definitely do believe in coin hunting. I mean, our entire platform, tokenmetrics.com, is designed for coin hunting. I mean, so we eat our own dog food. Because coin hunting is how you get those projects before anybody else invests, right? So we do believe in the more well-known coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dash, all the Binance, BNB, all those are definitely worthwhile in having in any portfolio. However, we also believe that you have to have some exposure to low cap coins, because looking at the financial academic literature, low cap coins have been proven to outperform in the long term, right? If you look at factor-based investing, do the research, right? Low cap is one of the 5 factors, right? So let me see if I can pull this up here, right? So 5-factor investing. So low cap, if you go to the literature, because I did have this somewhere, right? So I definitely recommend you look at, anybody out there can do research on this. So these are the 5 factors when it comes to investing, right? So you have value, you have size, you have momentum, you have volatility, quality, dividend, yield, other, right? Then you still have growth, inflation. But so size has been proven to contribute to alpha, right? You can go through and do all the research. Let me see if they have more on this here. So here, right? Size. With size, i.e. small cap strategies, the focus is on the shares of small companies. So this is looking at stocks, but we think that this can apply to crypto as well, right? So the focus is on the shares of small companies in the expectation that they will outperform those of large companies. This relationship was first demonstrated in a study by Rolf W. Bands in 1981. Subsequent studies confirmed these results. There are several explanations for the size factor, right? I mean, so basically size has been proven to work. All right, let me see if they have any other more information on this. All right, but in general, low cap investing does work. It's been scientifically proven to work. However, the caveat is it has to be low cap value investing. You can't just go out there and invest in any low cap coin. Right? You have to find low cap investments that are value. Right? Meaning, what is value investing? Value investing means you're getting something cheaper than what it's actually worth. So you try to calculate the intrinsic value of something, and you try to get it at a cheaper price. So with low cap investing for crypto, for example, we're taking cryptocurrencies and we're trying to get them at a lower valuation than what we think they can possibly be down the road. And it's definitely something we believe in strongly. We highly encourage you to do the research into this, but it's something we think makes sense. So getting back to your question, does it make more sense to do coin hunting? Yes, right? The data and research shows that low cap investing does work. We think the same thing can happen in crypto. So it does make sense to try to discover the new cryptocurrencies out there. However, you have to have a value-based approach to finding those cryptocurrencies, not just swing trading or just finding something that's overpriced. You have to find something that's underpriced when you're doing that research, right? And having proven coins in a portfolio is also recommended. We think having a fully diversified portfolio, so 10 coins or more, we would say 10 to 30 coins, but 10 coins is the minimum in our opinion. Having those and having some exposure to some of the low cap coins is a good strategy in our opinion. And that's what we talked about earlier when we talked about the 10 coins to 10 million in 10 years. Okay, all right, so let's go on to the next question here. Okay, so people keep on talking about Rocket Pool. I don't really know much about this, so can't really comment much. So going to have to skip this, unfortunately. Actually, maybe let's do a quick Google search and see what comes up here. Okay, so Rocket Pool is decentralized Ethereum proof of stake network. Well, Ethereum proof of stake hasn't launched yet, has it? Yeah, it hasn't. So how can people be killing it? And I'm not even sure. It's hard to say if it's legit if it hasn't launched yet, right? So not sure if this is a scam, but definitely caveat emptor, buyer beware. Okay, all right. So let me check in here in the comments. Just give me 1 second. All right, so let's see here how we're doing. Can or should I stake BNB? I mean, that's up to you, but we think staking definitely does make sense for anybody out there who's holding for the long term, because it is adding more money in your pockets. Matthias says, I heard that the whole banking SWIFT will get into Ripple, and Ripple signed contracts with all major banks, which means that the bank... Well, that's Ripple. That's not XRP, the token itself. What could the average person who doesn't even know about blockchain use a smart contract for? Well, I mean, there are lots of dApps that you leverage smart contracts without having to be an expert on smart contracts, right? So, for example, dApps like Oasis allow you to use DeFi, all right? So they definitely are being built. Right? Some people are so gullible, they really went and took out loans for Hex. We definitely do not recommend taking out loans for anything. You definitely do want to, I mean, that's too much risk. Don't take any additional risk. Investing in crypto is already risky as it is. So it does not make sense to go out there and add more risk to crypto. All right? That's just not a smart move, unfortunately. Okay, let's take a look here. Crazy DeFi token did 10x already. Going to be a competitor to DAI. Vitalik and Mike Pompliano have already said good things about it. Check it out. Called XDAI. Okay, I think this is the one that got listed on, was it BitMax? So I haven't really looked into it much yet, unfortunately. So XDAI chain. I see this is going straight to the documentation. XDAI is the ideal cryptocurrency for everyday payments and transactions. Fees are extremely low. Payments are instantaneous, and the value remains stable at $1 per XDAI. Okay, you see here XDAI on blockscout.com, Blockchain Explorer. Okay, I mean, I haven't really looked into this, so can't really comment much on this, unfortunately. All right, so going on to the next question. Next big altcoin for 100x. I wasn't here during 2017. Well, I would say just watch the videos. I mean, we just talked about our 10 coins to 10 million. So we kind of already covered that already. So we're going to have to skip that one. Ian, when will you be able to do active portfolio management? So I'm assuming you're talking about using Token Metrics. So good question. That is something we're working our way towards. So first thing first is building the Token Metrics indexes. And we've been testing them through our API. And so far, they've been working out pretty well. We haven't yet done integration into the website. But I mean, we're very excited about the possibilities, right? So let me just pull this up here. Just give me 1 second. Actually, I can't pull it up here because I'm not logged in. But I mean, look, I can walk you through what we're doing. So we're taking all our ratings and we're breaking them apart into different indices. and we'll then chart them, and so it will be easier for everybody, all our customers, to see the performance of the index versus Bitcoin and other indices, maybe even S&P 500 and others. And we think it's going to be pretty cool. So from testing, our models have been, one of the index has already performed 40% ROI in the last 2 weeks. Obviously, this is still experimental, early stage, but I mean, 40% return in 2 weeks is pretty good. And so we think this is really what people have been asking for, being able to make everything we're doing easier to consume. So we'll be showing the indexes. We'll have probably over 30 indexes. So we'll break it out into having an index for overall grade, for day trader and long-term investor or value investor. Then we'll also have fundamental index for both, technical analysis index, technology index. We'll also do indexes for price predictions, which is something people have been asking for a lot. So for anybody out there who wants to find the top price prediction cryptocurrencies to invest in based on our models, we'll create an index just for that. And we'll track all of these on Token Metrics, and we'll log the different transactions and the portfolios. So basically we're building model portfolios, and then we'll break that out based on different periods for rebalancing. So we'll have weekly, we have monthly, quarterly, and we'll also have annually. So I mean, we think it's going to be good. This is what we think people have really been asking for, because the ratings and everything are nice, but people really just want to know, like, how can we make a portfolio out of this? So we'll be doing that for you, making it very, very easy. So if you haven't yet already, make sure you join tokenmetrics.com. So that's the first step. Once we have that, and that's working, because that's going to be still manual. People will have to make their own trades. But our long-term vision is to get regulated, get licensed with the Securities and Exchange Commission, to then be able to take and manage people's money and build a software-based robo-advisor. So being able to take people's money, invest for them, and make the trades and rebalancing for them. Now, prior to that, one other thing we are possibly thinking about is maybe doing something that's DeFi-based, where it's non-custodial. Would have to be something more smart contract based, but the limitations with that would only be able to do transactions or hold assets that are on Ethereum's blockchain that are ERC20 based, right? This is kind of what Token Sets is doing, but ideally we would like to have cryptocurrencies that aren't just on the Ethereum blockchain, right? So to do something like that, we would have to go through a qualified third-party custodian, somebody like Anchorage or BitGo or somebody like that who's qualified and licensed by the SEC. So stay tuned. I mean, it's definitely going to take a while to develop, but in the meantime, we think if we develop the indices, right, we think that will be the first step. That's the precursor to that. But long term, that's the vision, that's the mindset, because we can automate everything and people can just make money as they sleep, right? That's kind of the goal. Obviously not guaranteed, but that's kind of the vision, right? Let the software invest and trade for us, and we just spend time with our family, our loved ones, and because that's the entire point of technology, right? Being able to take time and spend time on things we love, and not really have to be glued on a computer, because computers, software, quant-based investing, trading is a lot more efficient than humans. So this is the future. And that's why we built a platform, and that's why we're so thankful to have everybody who's joined so far as a customer. I mean, this is our best month to date in 2020. We've had so many people join Token Metrics on board. Could be because of the Bitcoin halving. People are now really saying that now's the time. We've also had lots of people join the affiliate program. So shout out to BitBoy Crypto, Alexander Lorenzo. Professor Crypto also recently made a video on it. Evan on Tech talked about Token Metrics as well, I heard. All right, so thanks to everybody out there for the support. We're glad to have you here in our crypto family, to the moon and beyond. Okay, all right, so let me check in to see how we're doing. Yes, some people just made 50x within 4 months as well with Hex. Yeah, I mean, some people made money. So if you put in, if you got that free claim, you definitely did make money on that. Solve, we were not bullish on Solve. We covered this project a while back. Is IoTex the next IOTA? Not really. we were bullish on it a while back, a few years back, I think, but it hasn't really done much. Herein is Chromia, a token or a coin. Also, I don't Helium's not on CoinMarketCap. Yeah, Helium is not on CoinMarketCap. It takes a while for coins to get added on CoinMarketCap. Helium is a coin. They're building their own blockchain. But right now, their token, because Helium is wrecked, man. I'm sorry. Sorry, not Helium. Definitely not Helium. I mean Chromia. Chromia, they've just underperformed. I mean, they still haven't launched a mainnet yet. So right now, the token is still ERC20. They haven't really switched over yet. I mean, so honestly, we feel like they just took our money. I was an investor in Chromia, by the way. That's why I'm talking like this. So definitely very disappointed in how they have performed. Okay, moving on. Yeah, I think we already talked about this. What can the average person... Okay, let me see if I can answer this again. Okay, what can the average person use a smart contract for? Okay, good question. So before we can talk about that, let's first define a smart contract. Smart contract is basically taking things people normally do, kind of like in a contract with legal stuff, right, with lawyers, and you're turning that into software, right? So this is where we get the expression code is law. So for example, you can get transactions or you can get two parties who don't know each other and don't trust each other to transact with trust. That's what's crucial about blockchains and smart contracts. Now, yeah, smart contracts are technical, but however, there are dApps, decentralized applications, that leverage smart contracts that people can use without having to be developers. So here are some examples. Let me pull up some examples off the top of my head. Okay. So Uniswap is a decentralized exchange, right? So if we pull this up here, you can trade similar to an exchange between two different parties without having to be a developer, right? So if we go to over here, we can swap a token. So for example, I can get 10 Ethereum, go over here and say I want to swap that for basic attention token, right? So it will give me this. I just hook up my wallet to it using MetaMask or some other Web3 browser, whatever, or wallet, and I can exchange, right? This is all being done via smart contracts. However, they've abstracted this and added a user interface to this, so I don't have to do any of the smart contract work. I can also send Ether or token to somebody else, right? I can say I'll send 10 Ether, and I want to convert that to Bancor and send this to a friend of mine because maybe I owe him Bancor, right? So this is one example, right? So DEXs are examples for this. One other example would be if we go to Maker, right? Actually, no, let's go to Compound Crypto, right? So Compound is really something that's blown up. Compound.finance. So the Compound protocol currently has over $115 million of assets on the protocol, right? So how do we use Compound? So let's go here. Okay, yeah, this is the app we need to use. Okay, hold on. It's telling me I gotta connect to a wallet. I can't use this without connecting a wallet. Okay, yeah, here we go. Right, so let's say you want to borrow money, right? So same thing with the exchange or DEX, but in this case, everything is decentralized. You can borrow money, right? So I can send somebody 100 Ether or 10 Ether, and it gives me DAI, right? Let's say I would like to borrow DAI by using my Ethereum as collateral. That's one of the example, right? So let's say I would like to use, let's say I have DAI even, right? So on the reverse side, you can lend out your cryptocurrency to somebody else and earn interest on that, right? So those are examples on how people are leveraging smart contracts without having to be experts in smart contracts. Now, the other one I wanted to pull up was DYDX is kind of the same thing, right? It's also an exchange, but this allows you to trade with with margin, right? So kind of like other dexes, but in this case, we're trading by borrowing money and using leverage, right? So if anybody out there who does leverage trading, so let's go over here. All right, so here we can margin trade up to 5x. Then we can also borrow assets, earn interest on crypto, all this good stuff. All right, so in this case, let's say we'd like to margin trade, right? We can go over here, margin trade 5x. Okay, what is this? Custom? Hold up, son. I didn't know they had this. Okay, yeah, 5x is the max. I was about to say, I was like, can you put 100x? Okay, let's say you want to do 4.5. Okay, I see why they have that custom. But yeah, so this is one of the example. This is all based on smart contracts. So let's find a different example. Let's find MakerDAO. So MakerDAO is kind of the same thing. They have different products. So we can go over here. We can use Oasis to trade, borrow, and save using DAI. We can migrate. We can do governance. So let's go to Oasis, right? Oasis is kind of the same thing. Nice user interface. So here we can borrow money. We can earn savings on DAI by locking it in Oasis Save. So kind of like a savings bank. Right here shows you different cryptocurrencies they support. All right, so Oasis is a platform for decentralized finance. Let's go to Save DAI and see what we have, right? So, and what is the savings rate here? Okay, so it seems I gotta hook up my wallet to that, and I don't want to do that right now. But you guys kind of get the idea, right? You go here, you hook it up, right? I don't have my MetaMask tied to this. Yeah, but that's kind of the idea, right? So going back to your question, what can the average person use a smart contract for? Well, to recap, you can trade, send money, borrow money, lend money, earn savings. There's so many things you can do with smart contracts. And this is really the power of decentralized finance and DeFi. So I highly encourage you to go out there and do research on this, use this, because this is definitely the future, in my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. All right. Ian, what happened to your hairline? I would say Corona happened to my hairline. And quite frankly, I haven't had a haircut in forever. I mean, since quarantine began. But hey, you know what? The only thing better, the only thing that can fix a not good hairline is is just money in your bank. Right? So right now I'm just focused on stacking money, making money, right? But that was actually pretty funny. Let's see here. Okay, seems we have some trolls here. XDAI, we already covered XDAI. Fortran, yeah, Fortran isn't a good place to do research on projects. Okay, so those questions in Mentimeter are finished. And we're getting to the top of the hour. All right, let's check comments and see how we're doing here. What do you think about Algorand? It's an alright project, but not really a project we would talk about the most. It's definitely not in our top 10, but please do check it out on tokenmetrics.com. When do you think mainstream adoption or major adoption will happen? Well, I mean, it's not quite there yet, but definitely a long way to go, but we think it's going to happen. Okay, Crypterium and Tyrion. Tyrion was a project we invested in back in 2017 during the ICO. Got out of it, I think in 2018, but hasn't really done much since then. Crypterium, we haven't really looked much into it. And then somebody's talking about Dubai. I love Dubai. Dubai is my city. I mean, for those that don't know, I had my 30th birthday in Dubai with our entire crypto team, and we had our Crypto World 20 event in Dubai. I love Dubai. I want to go back. Amazing place. I mean, really? Dubai is the place you go when you get 100x. Okay, so next 100x, I'll be back in Dubai. You best believe that. Thoughts on ADA? ADA has great technology. Tech is top 5, top 10 overall out of all the products we've looked at. So good, definitely good technology. Market cap to 8 trillion at the peak by end of 2021. It is logical thinking or too bullish? I think it's probably too bullish. I mean, it will be great if we get there, but definitely does seem too bullish to go there. I mean, because that is a long time. I mean, sorry, a short time, because all the other estimates are saying in 10 years. But I mean, hey, anything is possible in crypto, right? So definitely nice and steady. Missing you here? Hey, what's up, Matthias? Yeah, let's connect next time we're there. I definitely do miss Dubai. I was trying to go to that because they do have a blockchain conference there, but it was, I think, canceled or postponed due to Corona and the pandemic. I mean, I just missed the Crypto World Tour. I mean, because, oh, actually, one thing I did forget to talk about. Oh, man, can't believe I didn't cover this. But just give me 1 minute as I have a drink. Let me pull up TradingView here. All right, so for anybody out there, all of us who are speculators, traders, investors, no matter what you do, we all do like to travel, I would think, right? So let me go to TradingView. This is what a chart I was looking at. So I just have to sign in here. Because one of the cool things about traveling is currency arbitrage, right? So this is what I want to talk about briefly. Okay, all right, so I have logged in. So I'm American, I'm based here in the US, and I would like to know, okay, so I'm American, I'm based here in the US, and I haven't traveled since last year, since October, end of October, when I was in Vegas for Crypto IQ trading event with Charlie Shrem, and I went to Malta first week of November for the Malta AI and blockchain conference. But after that, for the last 6 months, I've been here at home. So I was quarantined before the quarantine. All the conferences I had in crypto and blockchain were canceled. So I've been here at home, not traveling. I mean, I've gone out a few times, but just outdoors playing basketball or to go to mail something at the post office. But everything is closed here where I am in DC, right? And man, I miss traveling. And I said, you know what? As soon as this whole pandemic thing cools off and travel has been open, I want to go somewhere and just vacation and just escape. And I said, where can I go to? And being the frugal person I am, especially now that we're going into this recession, I said, where does the dollar go the furthest? All right, so I began doing my research. And let me share my screen here. So here we're looking at TradingView. Here we're looking at different currencies and how they have performed against the US dollar, right? So we all know the US dollar is the world's reserve currency. It's what's used for trading oil around the world. But I said, okay, what currency has been impacted the most? And I went through, did some research, and these are the currencies I've basically come up with, right? And the first one is the Brazilian real. I think that's how it's pronounced. But at one point, it was, the dollar was up over 40% on the real. But right now, it's 35%. Meaning that if you had, let's say $1,000 beginning of the year, actually this is all the way from November, right? So since November, your $1,000 now is worth over $1,300. I mean, that's free money right there, right? So I reached out to my friend who's based in Brazil, and man, they were saying it's chaos, right? What's going on now with the pandemic? Like the president there hasn't really done much. He's really been acting like the pandemic is not real. And he's saying that he was like, hey man, come to Brazil, I'll host you. If you come to Brazil, you'll be treated like a king because the dollar goes a long way in Brazil. Then I looked at other countries I've been to, other countries that have also had inflation issues or currency crisis. So here we have, this is the Turkish lira. So we know last year and in the past, Bitcoin and crypto has been very, very bullish and popular in Turkey because of inflation. And we see here the dollar is up 23% versus the Turkish lira. Then the Mexican peso as well. The dollar is up 21% versus the Mexican peso, 14.9, almost 15% versus the Russian ruble, 13% versus the Colombian peso. So, I mean, for anybody out there, I mean, yes, it's definitely unfortunate, and I definitely don't want to be distasteful and celebrate on any other countries that are having financial crisis or issues. However, this, if we add Bitcoin to this, right? Because just let's take a look at Colombia. I mean, sorry, at Brazil, right? So for anybody in Brazil, you have lost money just by holding the local currency, right? So you have lost money. You have lost, the dollar is up 35% versus the Brazilian real. So how did I calculate this last time, right? So you would have been better off putting your money into Bitcoin, right? Let's assume you had $1,000. How do I calculate this? Just give me 1 second here. Right, so assume somebody had $1,000, right? And they kept it in the real. They would have lost, I think 35%. I think the calculation is actually kind of inverted. But either way, imagine if you just put that money into Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin versus the dollar itself, if we just turn all of this off just to make it easier. Right, Bitcoin is up 22% versus the dollar. So if you had, if you had 1,000 real, I'm just trying to see. If the dollar now is worth 1,300 and Brazilian real, you would actually have a lot more than that, right? Your 1,300 would be, let's do 1.22, 1,500, almost $1,600 more, right? Just because you put it into Bitcoin. So I think this really shows the power of crypto. Because people in America or people in the developing world don't really, because we have lots of people who doubt crypto and Bitcoin. But if you're seeing what's happening to people in local currencies who are having inflation and all these issues, you would be bullish on Bitcoin too. So this was something I covered in my earlier tweets this week, right? If I can pull this up here. So if you're not following me on Twitter, definitely be sure to follow me. Right? So let me just go here real quick. Okay, where is this? Yeah, here's my tweet storm where I talked about this. Right? So the example I gave was with the US dollar and Brazilian, right? And the Mexican peso. Right? So here's an example. Right, Bob has $1,000 in the Brazilian real on January 1st, 2020. As of today, but back when I was talking, his money is basically turned to $700. Now imagine we have Alice. She puts $1,000 into the Brazilian real. But John, I'm just trying to, I got confused here. Alice puts $1,000 into the Brazilian real. She puts her money into Bitcoin. Her money, as of today, is $1,300. John has $1,000 in the Brazilian real, and he puts his money into gold. His money, as of today, is $1,100. So Bob back here, who kept his money in the Brazilian real, he is losing money. But not only that, this is where it gets very, very crucial, right? Not only that, he's losing money versus John and Alice, to a point where Alice, in just half a year, is twice as rich as Bob. This part is crucial. Alice is twice as rich as Bob. Just because Bob put his money into BTC, right? No, sorry. I mean, Bob is losing money. Alice is twice as rich as Bob by putting her money in BTC. And John, obviously not making quite as much money as Alice in BTC, but gold is still also holding its value. Then I go on to say inflation and hyperinflation are real, especially in the developing world, because this is what's happening in Venezuela and other parts of the world. And Bitcoin, digital gold, and gold protect people from having these issues in the developing world. They help them from losing their wealth. They become stores of value from a declining local currency. And as I've shown here, right? So anybody who's in any of these parts of the world, I mean, you're basically protecting your wealth, right? Whether you're in Brazil, Mexico, Turkey, Colombia, Russia, I mean, you would have been better off putting money in Bitcoin, because let's say it's hard to get US dollars, right? Because even Bitcoin has outperformed US dollar. Obviously, the chart here looks different because we're looking at, excuse me, at Bitcoin versus the dollar, but Bitcoin is up 20. Looking at this, right? Bitcoin is up versus the dollar. So that's why it makes sense to be in crypto and Bitcoin. Right? That's the use case for people outside of America, outside of the developing world, to have exposure to Bitcoin. It helps them from losing money like this. Then people asked about stocks and equities, and I go on to say that yes, stocks and equities are great. They do outperform the market. So historically speaking, stocks have outperformed gold. But people in the developing world, not everybody can go out there and just buy Apple or Amazon, these US companies. So even an honest family, for example, in Iran, they can't just go out there and buy Apple, right? Because there are so many economic sanctions that prevent people from buying these stocks, right? Whether it's going to a bank, KYC, whatever. In some parts of the world, women don't even have access to a bank account. And just other parts of the world, people are unbanked, right? Because in some places of the world, I mean, first of all, you can't go and buy a stock unless you have a bank account. And not everybody in the world has bank accounts, right? However, people who have cash or whatever, if you have a phone, that's why in East Africa, in Kenya and Uganda, M-Pesa is very, very popular. People can go there and use mobile money just with their phones. And now there are local stores where people can go and buy Bitcoin, peer-to-peer, right? And people who are unbanked are now becoming banked due to Bitcoin and crypto, right? So the value prop is stronger than ever, especially in this pandemic, right? Bitcoin and gold are independent stores of value, not controlled by the whims of corrupt governments, by politicians, by central banks. This is why investors diversify and have a piece of either in their portfolio, right? So going back to this, I mean, this was definitely very, very eye-opening, right? So for any of our audience who's in any of these countries, or just even any other country maybe I didn't cover yet, definitely share with us what you think, right? Share with us how it is in your country with inflation. I mean, I definitely do want to resume the Crypto World Tour, and I've already had people in these countries inviting me to come, saying they want me to host, saying the dollar goes a long way, and is because, for example, a friend of ours, he's in Rio, he's saying, man, it's crazy, but on the last World Tour, you didn't come to Brazil. Come to Brazil now. You know, it'll be good. It'll be cheap. It'll be frugal, cost effective, because obviously we're going in one of the roughest recessions globally, a global recession, right? So being frugal and trying to maximize how far Bitcoin goes, right? Whether Bitcoin or dollar, wherever you are, definitely does make sense. I have lots of friends of mine who are expats, right? They're Americans or grew up elsewhere, whether the UK, Amsterdam, or Holland, and they went somewhere else, whether Indonesia and Bali, Thailand, Colombia, where else, or just other parts of the world, and they're basically making crypto or dollars, and the cost of living is very low, right? So that's something I've been looking into. I still love America, don't really plan to fully leave yet, but you know, I have thought about maybe going somewhere and posting up, whether it's back to Thailand or whether it's going to Brazil for a few weeks or even a month, getting an Airbnb and just minimizing my cost of living as I'm stacking more crypto and more dollars. That's kind of my mindset, right? It's basically called currency arbitrage. And yeah, I mean, let me know what you think. Anybody out there with any thoughts on currency arbitrage, with inflation, with helping the unbanked become banked and getting them exposure to Bitcoin and crypto to store their value and protect their wealth? And let me know what you think down in the comments below. All right, I mean, man, this has been a long stream. We've been going strong. What 5 cryptocurrencies would you suggest to buy now? Go back in the live stream. We did cover that. Crypto World Tour was lit. Thank you, Alpha Diallo. Yeah, I mean, it was lit. We definitely want to go back, you know, especially post-halving. Because travel won't really be resumed, at least here in the States, for a while. So it might take a few more months. But I think all of us being at home just need to unwind. I know I've been working hard on Token Metrics 6 to 7 days a week. So just taking some time off and not having to think about work. All right, so maybe like a 1 to 2 week vacation finally, right? I think is due and in store. All right, well, I mean, it's been a long time, long live stream. Thank you to everybody who's been tuned in. Be sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends, crypto family in the house. Thank you for everything. It's been a pleasure. And I mean, this is the last live stream, the official one. I know last week I said that was the last one, but I forgot. This is now the last one. Next live stream will be in a post-halving world. Is Bitcoin going to crash? Is it going to the moon? I mean, as we talked about earlier, right now our models are neutral. They were bullish up until the halving, but now we're neutral. Long term, we're obviously bullish on Bitcoin and crypto long term, but we're saying for the next few weeks, it's neutral. So meaning that if you're in Bitcoin, hold and wait and see. If you're on the sidelines, hold and wait and see. Wait for a bigger inflection point or wait for a bigger moment of truth. With that being said, I mean, stay safe out there. Don't panic sell. Practice good investing and research. Be sure you're subscribed to tokenmetrics.com for more research. We'll have, for all our customers out there, as mentioned, we'll be doing a private Bitcoin halving webinar where we answer your questions and we just celebrate the halving. It's going to be Monday. Let me just double check. Yeah, that's like in less than 6 hours. Actually, it should be Tuesday. Maybe I got the dates wrong. Let me just confirm that, just to make sure we have it here. Actually, no, sorry. So it's going to be Tuesday, 5 a.m. Eastern time. That's 5 a.m. in the morning. So, you know, if I'm getting up 5 a.m. in the morning, it's going to be something, because I don't sleep till like 4 or 5 a.m. So I probably won't sleep. I probably just sleep during the daytime. Then also Tone Vase invited me to join his Bitcoin halving live stream. So I'm probably going to hop in for that as well. He's doing a 12-hour live stream from, actually, I think it's Monday. Yeah, Monday, 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. So I'm probably going to hop on for that as well, in and out. But with that being said,
we just landed on the moon in a Lambo.
Thank you, crypto family. It was beautiful having you all here. As usual, stay safe. And as we like to say, the moon is not the limit. To the moon and beyond. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good time. We'll see you next time. Crypto family in the house.
Slow. I won't slow you down. I'll try to hold you down. My eyes are open now. Won't slow you down. Won't slow you down. She want me never on the road, and yet I get her when I go. Want me forever getting close, but like me better when I close down. So many meetups gotta hold down. So many meetings on the road now. I gotta leave her for the show, but she really saying no. She believe I gotta slow. Just try to know. I need a moment on an island, no. I need to know where every vibe can go. I need a moment where the time is slow, but she told me slow down on crypto. She doesn't know this is it though. Need a vacation from the big show. Need a vacation from the get-go. She told me slow down on crypto. The market is a give go. I get more. I'm living on the world tour to score more. Retired from the board floor. I'm more for it. They're telling me to slow down, but not now. The minute that it goes down, I buy out. Got another tour stop, but never with a tour stop. I just try to know. I need a moment on the island though. I need to know where every vibe can go. I need a moment where the time is slow, but she told me slow down on crypto. She doesn't know this is it though. Need a vacation from the big show. Need a vacation from the get-go. She told me slow down on crypto. She doesn't know this is it though. Need a vacation from the big show. Need a vacation from the get-go. She told me slow down on I won't slow you down. I'll try to hold you down. My eyes are open now. Won't slow you down. Won't slow you down.
Token Metrics is a cryptocurrency investment platform that helps users leverage machine learning to become better crypto investors. Our in-depth analysis helps eliminate the emotions of investing, find profitable investment opportunities, and filters out scams. Learn more at tokenmetrics.com. Disclaimer: Token Metrics Media LLC does not provide individually tailored investment advice and does not take a subscriber's or anyone's personal circumstance into consideration when discussing investments, nor is it registered as an investment advisor or broker-dealer in any jurisdiction. Information contained herein is not an offer or solicitation to buy, hold, or sell any security. The Token Metrics team has advised and invested in many blockchain companies. A complete list of their advisory roles and current holdings can be viewed here at tokenmetrics.com.